What's up, everybody? Good morning and happy Tuesday. DK Show coming to you from the TDS Sports Talk studios this morning. Thanks for making us a part of your start. If you are already up and at it, whether it's on those radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM, streaming it up online at sportstalk1051.com, WAYYradio.com. You got the app. Download it, take it on the go. Your smart devices, smart speakers, and the video stream also up and rolling on YouTube this morning. Check us out on YouTube, Section 105 chat. Up and rolling over there. Just YouTube search Man Cave TV or the Dan Kasper Show. That'll be up there. What do we have on our game plan for this May 12th? We'll talk a little Bucks. No big surprise, I think, to anybody at this point, but ESPN and everybody's favorites, ESPN basketball reporter Shams, reporting yesterday that the Bucks are open for business on trade calls and offers for the two-time MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo. There is, are we really surprised at this? No. I don't think so. And as he says in his piece, there is expected to be a robust market for Giannis, and ownership and front office officials expect to maintain their trade deadline asking price of a young blue chip talent and or a surplus of draft picks. Again, are we that surprised with it? No, I don't think so. I don't think we are. But we'll see if it actually happens this time. It also goes on to say the Bucks are also leaving the door open to pursue a major trade to persuade Giannis to stay once again, allowing Horst to work parallel paths. They will have the 10th overall pick in the draft, 2 other future first-rounders, and tradable contracts such as those of Bobby Portis and Kyle Kuzma to offer in deals this offseason. So, the headline is that the Bucks are open for business. But then you read a little more, and it says, well, the Bucks are also leaving that door open to keep Giannis and pursue maybe some other trades. So it's like, all right, kind of bearing that little tidbits in there too. But nonetheless, if you're wondering kind of some teams here, it says sources said postseason teams such as the Timberwolves, the Cavs, the Celtics, Knicks, and Lakers pursued Giannis at the February deadline, and their finishes to the campaign will play a major factor in their aggressiveness for him. Rival executives believe that Giannis's desired teams will be the largest factor in his trade destination. So, yeah. What else do we got on the docket here this morning? We got baseball. Brewers are back at it tonight. The Brew Crew beginning a 3-game series against the Padres. First pitch at 6:40. Brandon Sproat going to get the start here for the Brewers. Brandon Sproat, his last appearance back on the 6th against the Cardinals, where he went 4 innings, giving up just 1 hit, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts, no earned runs. So Sproat's on the mound for the Brewers. Matt Waldron's going on the mound for the Padres. Matt Waldron coming off of his first win on the season back on the 6th against the Giants, where he went 5 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 7 strikeouts, no walks. Easily his best game this season. Overall, in 4 games that he's appeared, he has started 3 of them. He is 1-1 with a 7.71 ERA. Not a ton of experience with these lineups going up against either of these pitchers, but we'll break it down and take a look at this series ahead of the conclusion of the first quarter of the season for the Brew Crew. Mathematically, after this 3-game series, there'll be a little over 25% completed for the season. So Wasn't a ton of Major League games in action last night, but we'll have a full-on docket here today, including the entire NL Central, which wasn't in play yesterday. So, but yeah, plenty of baseball talk coming your way here. And I want to talk some more about Terang and Miz and those guys too. But plenty of Brewers talk coming your way here this morning. We'll keep you posted if any more schedule release for the NFL games get announced. We knew that, a couple of them last night. Yesterday morning we had heard about the Giants and the Cowboys. Another Cowboys game getting revealed. Cowboys going to be playing against the Eagles on Thanksgiving. And then the first Thursday night football game, it'll be the Lions visiting the Buffalo Bills. So the complete schedule will be released on Thursday. But again, if anything gets, I'm assuming another one's going to get announced here this morning. But if anything leaks potentially about the Packers while we're on, we'll keep you posted on that. So, but we'll hit that up. It is a Toyson Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday. What's grinding your gears, peeps? All right. What is grinding your gears? Send it on over to us. Text it 715-830-1912 on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line, or you can join in on the chat on the Section 105 chat room. So what's grinding your gears? It is also, if you got a confession, if you got a sports confession that you just kind of maybe want to make yourself feel a little bit better, send that on over too, all right? Also, I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. Fill in the blanks, all right? I'm not saying blank, but I'm just saying blank. Best ones we'll read up on the air. So that's kind of your game plan for us this morning. So I want to hear from you, all right? Start to hit me up with those grind my gears and your confessions and your I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. All right, I want to hear from you this morning. So shoot those on over. We're going to open up things. We'll see where the conversation takes us. If you want to hit up a little Bucks chat with the Giannis thing, go for it. If you want to talk some Brewers to open up things here this morning, go for it and such. But I do want to, get back to Bryce Terang talk a little bit. I mean, you want to talk about some high compliments. Aaron Judge, I don't know if you guys missed this or saw this, I should say, after Sunday's game and that, but he was talking about Bryce Terang and, saying that Terang was hitting it further than he was in BP and wishing that he was on his team and that. And I know I kind of joked about Terang being on the Yankees eventually, but if the Brewers, let's just throw this out there. If the Brewers were to give another like Christian Yelich, Ryan Braun type of contract, like, you know what I mean? Like sign a dude to a massive deal because I feel like they're good for one of them. Would that be to Bryce Terang? Would that be to Contreras? Like, who would you give that one huge contract that feels like every 10 years or so that the Brewers do it? Is Bryce Terang? Or do you feel like, you know what, they got the depth with Jesus Made. Maybe it's not Contreras because you're like, hey, they got Jefferson Kiro and such. It stinks in that aspect because I don't think they're going to give Terang or any of those guys long-term, big-term contracts because of the depth that they got behind him and such. But they got Terang under arbitration yet for a few years, so they control they control him for a while here. It's just hate thinking about that, but that is the state we're in. And I don't know, maybe that changes after the new collective or the CBA and labor negotiations with baseball and the players union and such. So, but anyways, let's talk some Brewers, let's talk some Bucks and all that fun stuff. We'll take our first break, and then we'll get things going here on the leadoff coming up after these quick words. Summer is almost here, and that means it is time to hit the road in something that you love. And at Toyson Ford, you will find a great selection of new and pre-owned vehicles ready for every adventure. Looking for power, comfort, reliability? They've got it all backed by a team that's committed to making your car buying experience easy and stress-free. So whether it's a weekend getaway or your daily drive, make sure you're riding in style this summer. Toyson Ford at Chippewa Falls, where your next journey begins. It is a Grind My Gears Tuesday, brought to you by Toyson Ford. And, well, just as a reminder, too, we are officially less than 2 weeks away from Eau Claire Express season beginning, too, because it was 2 weeks from yesterday, that Memorial Day Monday. So make sure you're following the Express Facebook page. They have been busy updating their roster and such. And I know we've got at least a couple of local players coming here. Easton Bob from Chippewa Falls grad and Cadott grad Warren Bowe, both pitchers playing at St. Thomas. But, they're going to be coming on over, and I saw Brandon Berg chatting about that too. So speaking of some local celebrities and such, Mr. Seabaum. Oh, in studio. How are you?
Great. Good morning, El Capitano. It's great to be here. It's good to see your face. This new studio is sweet, dude. I'm going to tell you. I like it.
I was going to say, yeah, you haven't been. Thanks for dropping off the caffeinated beverage.
Well,
much needed.
Got to have a little go-go juice in the morning.
After the last few days, yeah, definitely need it. So, but man, it's good to see you.
Yeah, you as well. You as well. This is great. And when you were doing that Toyson Ford, coming in from break there, it made me think about the Express, and I was wondering, if we have any good deets. So you and Brandon will have to elaborate on the Express season coming up. I can't wait to sit in the stands and hot July nights or June nights. And
I love sitting at a ballpark watching. I think we, Lambeau Field is tops, but there's just something different going to a ballpark, like a baseball game too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just maybe a little less stressful and such in watching a ball game.
And I love watching the Express. It's all these kids trying to live their dream, and getting their shot, playing with a wood bat, trying to get seen. And there's some great talent out there. It's a lot of fun. And the Express games, I mean, most people in the area listening to this, I would hope would have been to a game or two by now. But, man, I love going out there. It's fun. You know what's
cool, too, is that the Northwoods League, I don't know if you heard me mention this yesterday, the Field of Dreams field is adding a team. So starting in 2027, there's going to be that's their home park.
Mobile man cave trip.
There, I like it. I've not been there before.
Neither have I.
It's on my bucket list.
Got to get there.
We got it. Yeah, if the Express play there, we're heading down there for a game.
Absolutely.
100%.
Pencil it in.
Yep. So, you got your Brewers hat on right now. Can you believe we're already approaching the end of the first quarter of the season?
It's the quarter pole.
Yeah.
It's not early anymore.
Is that okay? So you did say that. After Mother's Day, it's
Mother's Day. You should know what you got by Mother's Day.
Mm-hmm. So what do the Brewers have?
I think they got it's still a bit of an enigma. We should know what they have, but I think they're a team that can hit. They're scrappy, and they've got some sneaky good pitching. I think if they play their best game, they just showed against the Yankees. They swept them, right? They can win. They can beat anybody. So it'll be interesting to see. I think that Harrison trade, I think Brewers won that trade big time.
Yep.
I hate seeing Durbin struggle the way he has been, because we loved him last year.
Right, yeah. No ill will towards him at all or anything.
None. None. I'd love to have seen him do great, but I think I don't think Boston's ever going to trade with the Brewers again.
Probably not. Probably not. So, but yeah, I mean, you look at the Harrison trade. I mean, you look at obviously Angel Zerpa is going to be done for the year, so that one's kind of a stinker and such. But Sproat. I mean, even the Mets one now with Freddie Peralta, and then getting we haven't seen Jet Williams yet, but then Brandon Sproat's on there, who's been a contributor and such. So it's a team and I'm maybe not trying to put my rose-colored glasses on too much, but when you think about it, or when you look at it, you look at the pitching and just how lights out they've been, especially this past weekend against a very good offensive Yankees team. I think the bullpen in 13 innings and throughout the 3 games only gave up 1 earned run against the Yankees. And then you factor in their starters, and I just, we still got Christian Yelich coming back here too. The offense, even though he hasn't hit a home run and such, it just looks better with Jackson Churio at the top and Andrew Vaughn in the middle and that flexibility. right? I mean, it looks better. It feels better, too.
It certainly does. I think Churio coming back was a big shot in the arm for them offensively. It's just, yeah, I think they're set up. Their pitching's doing really good. I mean, you look at all their innings pitched, and Ashby's got barely over a 2 ERA. He's been phenomenal. So
7 wins already this year.
Yeah.
So.
So they're humming, and it's fun. It's good. And the scary part is look where they sit in the Central. So, I mean, we got a tough season ahead. It's going to be a battle all the way to the end.
And I think that's good, though, too, for a younger team, right? That, they're going up against, obviously they're chasing the Cubs and such, but it's a young team that, last few years have experience. I know they got a lot of new guys into the fray in that, but I think it's good to be in that division so that you can't really rest on your laurels in the first part of the season.
Absolutely.
So, pitching-wise, it's there. Bryce Terang and that guy has been just, we look at the last few years of what he's been able to do and such, and you just wonder how much has Pat Murphy meant to Bryce Terang's career trajectory. Like the first year was Craig Counsell's final year, and he struggled offensively. It's almost like Pat Murphy kind of like empowered him and gave him this confidence, and Terang has just, exploded on the scene.
Oh, he's blossomed. He's phenomenal. And
I
love it
watching that guy.
He's on my Dynasty Fantasy League, too, so I love it. He's flirting with 300 right now. The guy's just been money. That bomb to dead center, to win the other day. I love watching him play, and I see you he's your new Sal Frelick.
He's my new Sal Frelick. I think I gravitate towards guys that, they're not all, and not everybody's like this, but they're not all of me. He's like a quiet, kind of guy. You don't hear him. He's not flashy, in terms of like media or anything like that. And just the way he goes about, defense first and then the offense came. I love those gritty type of players, and he's going to be in the lineup every single day if he can be too. Kind of like a Contreras and when Willie Adames was here. I mean, it's going to be hard. You can't take him out of the lineup, and the fact that he had a chance to kind of hey, if we're going to give you a shot to go up against left-handed pitch, it doesn't matter if a left-handed pitcher's up there anymore. The guy's still hitting off of him at this point.
He's hitting off everyone, and it's fun. I think he's got 5 or 6, and that's the other thing too. He's got 39 hits or whatever. I think it's 5 or 6 of them are go-ahead hits. Yeah. So he's in the clutch. He's bringing batters in. He's making contact. He's a gritty player. I love watching Bryce Terang. He's a Brewer through and through, and he's pricing himself out of Milwaukee. It's kind of frustrating.
It is. Like, you hear Judge, and while I was watching it, I'm like, man, I wouldn't be surprised if Terang's like suited up for the Yankees at some point in that. But and I know the Brewers got guys, coming up in the system. But if they can keep Terang for a while here, I would really, really love it. And I'll be honest too, I think a lot of us forget his dad did play in the major leagues.
Who did he play for?
He was drafted by the Mariners.
Really?
Yeah, back in '89. So he played a couple years with the Seattle Mariners in the early '90s.
Good grief.
So you don't hear a whole lot about that, but I don't think you hear a whole lot about like Bryce Terang's back, and I think that's part of it because he's just kind of a quiet dude,
right?
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah.
A little nugget you're dropping here on a Tuesday. I learned something. I can go home now.
Right? So, or, he is a California boy, so when that time comes, I'm sure people are going to be wondering those West Coast teams if he comes through and such.
Yeah.
So,
let's trade him to Boston first so we can get a haul for him.
Right?
And then let him go somewhere.
Well, all right. I know this was a question we threw out last week. Is Miz an ace right now?
I think he is. I mean, what he did the other night, and he's shown little flashes, right? But was that his real coming out party? I mean, that first inning, just pitch after pitch after pitch, just blowing the doors. I mean, that was unbelievable.
All 4-seam fastballs, 102, 103 miles per hour. Unbelievable.
Almost an immaculate inning to start the game. I mean, that was something else. And sadly, I didn't get to watch it. I was listening. But Levering on the radio, boy, he is phenomenal. He was really good.
Yeah.
It's just too bad Euchre couldn't be around to call this kid because, is he electric.
Can you imagine?
He struck him out. I would love it.
Yeah. And I'll admit, last week when we kind of threw it out there, I was kind of hedged. But then you think about it. This is a dude that goes out there And when it's the big games, whether it's the Yankees or going up against Paul Skeens or the Dodgers or those playoff games coming out of the pen, that's when it seems like he pitches his best. And isn't that what an ace is supposed to be doing at that point?
Yep.
And I'm kind of like you. I'm just kind of waiting. Is the Tommy John eventually good? I hate having that mindset. You can't predict it in that, but it's almost, I think it was Randy Johnson or some pitcher said, you're not really a pitcher until you have it. And that's just it's a sad thing to say, but it kind of feels like that's the case with a lot of these guys.
My only hope is that he's built kind of like Randy Johnson, and Randy never had to have his Tommy John done on his arm. So let's just hope, because, man, that kid's electric. He's fun to watch, and he hasn't even been up for a year yet. So he's still developing. He's going to be something fun to watch, and we're lucky to have him.
Exactly. Let's take a quick break. We'll have plenty more to get to here with Seabaum's going to hang out for a little bit more if he can. So
you bet.
All right, we'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back after these few words. Whether you're chasing a championship or you're just trying to stay active, your body deserves the best care. And at Triple Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, they help athletes and non-athletes alike get back to doing what they love. From sports injuries and joint pain to everyday aches, their expert team is there with personalized care every step of the way. So no matter your level of activity, you don't have to sit on the sidelines. Triple Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, helping you move better, to feel better, and to live better. Brandon Wolf on our video stream saying, I'm not saying he's old, but I'm just saying happy 62nd birthday to my dad, Willie Wolf. So happy birthday to Papa Wolf or Willie Wolf, Brandon. So thanks for sharing that with us. We've got C-Bomb still with us for a little bit in studio. So, hey, for the next few minutes, if anybody's got a question for C-Bomb, they can text it on over and such. How about that? Keep it clean, though. Good stories, if anything. So
nothing from Hetch, if he's listening.
Oh, well, all right. We'll see. We'll see if Hetch comes out. So I'm sure. You know what we might have to do is when that Packers schedule comes out on Thursday. If there is that Packers-Bears game, we might have to get together, you, me, and Hetch, and maybe a couple others, do a little watch party and such.
That would be a fun time.
I don't know.
Maybe I could find tickets to that.
Ooh. I would,
We got to get intern. Remember, we got to get him to a game.
I'm not saying that, I'm friends with a lot of Bears fans, but I'm just saying I would go to a Bears game with Hetch.
Absolutely.
A Packers-Bears game with Hetch. So, let's think about that one.
Yeah,
let's think
that'd be fun.
That. I know our other friend, Mr. Blake, was toying around with trying to get tickets to a Packers-Bears game.
Really?
So maybe we add him to it too.
Oh, yeah, that'd be good.
Nicholas, maybe he's listening right now too. So, but we'll see. Well, you got a sports confession.
I do.
All right, what do you got?
Oh, all right. The football gods rained on me one time, and I've learned. I've never done this since, but the year was 2004.
Mm-hmm.
Don't remember the date exactly. Green Bay is needing to win, and Minnesota needed to lose to get into the playoffs.
Okay.
We were playing Denver, and it was like 53-10. Our third stringers were in. It's the last game of the season. Minnesota's up by 2 touchdowns late in the game against Arizona. My brother had been saying for the whole second half, let's get the hell out of here. Let's get out of here. And I'm like, I am not leaving early. And with 2 minutes left, Minnesota up 2 touchdowns. I was like, screw it, let's beat the traffic. We're walking out of Lambeau Field, and we're making our way out. We're going down the steps, towards stadium view.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, the place erupts. And I'm like, I looked at my brother. This is before, this is like 2004. So it's like not everybody had cell phones. And they weren't displaying anything on the big screen or anything. And I looked at Mike, and I was like, Minnesota just lost. There's no way they're cheering like that if we just scored a touchdown because we're killing them.
Right.
Yeah, sure enough, that's when Nathan Poole caught the touchdown, 4th and 25 or whatever it was, and he catches a 28-yard touchdown to beat Minnesota on the last play to get Green Bay into the playoffs. Snowballs flying, Favre and everybody running around the stadium, high-fiving. And I'm outside. I didn't get to witness that inside the stadium. I was so pissed, and I vowed I will never leave a game early, and nor have I, nor will I ever again. The football gods are like, they flipped the middle finger at me and said, that's what you get for leaving the game early.
I remember watching that on TV. Because that was Amon Green had like the 98-yard rushing touchdown, right?
Yep.
Or something like against Denver. Because that was when he went over 2,000 yards that season, right? Or 1,800 yards, I think it was.
It was something like that.
Something like that.
Yep.
Like
it was
he
way
was
up there.
Way up there, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
it was him and Priest Holmes that year that just lit it up.
Yeah, that's right. But I remember watching that because didn't like Moss just walk off the field early too? Or something like that. Or no, it was a time. No, I'm thinking of another game now. That he was walking off early, I think.
He may have. I was at the Packer game, so I didn't see it. All I remember is how loud that stadium was and how ticked off I was that I looked at my brother. He's like, why the hell did you want to leave early? Of course, I'm blaming him, but I was the idiot that said, let's go.
Man, I still remember watching that one. And Poole got like the key to the city in Green Bay, I think, the following week in that playoff game. So, well, since the schedule is coming out on Thursday and such, since I have you here really quick, what is it that you're going to be looking with the schedule first? Like, what are some of the things that you look at with the schedule?
The first thing I'm going to look at is who we get late in the season at Lambeau, right? One thing I hate is playing Minnesota, and even though Minnesota, they're acclimated to the temperature because they're living in Minnesota, right? But they're not playing out in it, so I hate it when we have to play Minnesota at home early. It's like let's play them late. But the other two games, I think Atlanta's going to be much improved, and so is Dallas. If we're going to get one, because they're both at Lambeau, let's see one of them late. I don't want to see Dallas in September. Let's see them I don't want to see them in September. I want to see them in December at Lambeau. So we'll see. That's kind of what I'm looking for. Who do we get at home late?
Yeah, and how many home games, in that month of December or January too? Because I did see the NFL apparently like from week 15 through even, if you count the playoffs, but week 15 they're going to start Saturday games. That
early?
Yeah.
Nice.
I think it was week 15 they said, which I like Saturday games.
I do too.
Get a Saturday game in. You got Sunday to kind of recover, and whether it's if it's a loss, you got a little bit of time to recover and such. But I like Saturday games just from a pure personal standpoint. So,
but inject NFL into my veins, man. I don't care. It's 7 days a week. I don't care. Let's keep doing it. I wish they would change I wish they would change up the Thursday games though, so make it you only play a Thursday game coming off a bye.
Yeah.
That's it. And I don't know why that's so difficult to throw into their schedule maker. That I could use AI and come up with a better schedule than what they do sometimes. So I wish that's one thing that they would change. Coming off a bye, you get a Thursday game.
Schefter just tweeted another game. The season's first Monday Night Football game will be Denver versus Kansas City. The interesting note on this thing is the site still has not been determined. As the NFL is still finalizing its schedule for Thursday's release. So, that you have two options, Denver or KC.
Unless, are either of them slated for a international game?
I don't, would they do that for the two division rivals like that?
Ugh, you would hope not.
Yeah, I don't know.
And on a Monday, making it a short
it's
travel.
the first week. Yeah, right. I don't know, but I don't know. I would think not, since it's the Monday night game, but who knows? I don't think you could determine what the NFL is going to do. So
unless it's like a Mexico City game, I could see him doing that. But then, boy, wouldn't that tick off a home team?
Yeah.
Who is the home team on that one? Is that Denver or Kansas City?
They don't have a site. They don't know yet because it's a division game, so they play twice already. So they don't know which one. Yeah, they don't know. They said they don't have the site figured out yet. So
that's great.
Yeah, so maybe it could be a potential international one. So
that should be a good game, though.
Well, if Patrick Mahomes ready to go in week 1,
right?
Coming back from that ACL injury, which everybody kind of assumes, but that's kind of where, for me at least, I don't want to see Packers Bears early because I want Micah Parsons back.
Absolutely.
So, and I'm worried that they're going to schedule that early, just for ratings and such. But I want Micah Parsons back when we go up against Chicago. So otherwise, I don't know if we can watch that game with Hetch if we don't have Micah Parsons.
Oh.
No, he hasn't sent a message yet, so maybe he's still sleeping. He should be on the road by now. Where is he at?
He's a Bears fan. He stays hidden until they win.
There you go. There you go. So, but it's but hey,
good stuff.
This was good stuff.
What are you looking for when the schedule drops?
I'm looking for when. Well, first of all, deer season. Looking at that. I'm looking for. Well, I got to know if I'm going to be in the stand or not, or if I got to take extra battery powers out there. So, deer season and division games where they're slated at home and away, and those are probably my top primetime games too. Where are the primetime games? How many? They're probably going to get 5. So,
yeah, they'll be up there again, especially when Parsons is back. That'll probably be later. You probably won't see any the first month. And then they'll just load them up.
Yep. All right. Well, to the texter who says, grind my gears, he's complaining how I'm talking. You know what grinds my gears? When people send complaints and they're a first-time texter.
Uh-oh.
So, there you go.
El
And
Capitano.
such.
How's that coffee, by the way?
It's good, man. It's good.
That's good.
I appreciate that. So, and maybe put a name by your text, too, if you want to. So,
Yeah. I don't see the texting line over here. Again, I got to give props to this studio.
yeah.
I did. Hey, I thought of you. I'd have to show you a picture, too. I don't know how much time. But I was following a vehicle in today with a Yeti, a big Yeti on the back of their truck. So I was thinking of you on the drive-in.
Nice.
Yep.
That's our mascot now. Winston.
Winston.
I don't know why.
Winston?
It came to my
It's
mind.
a cigarette, for crying out loud.
I didn't even think of that, but I mean, would you used to smoke Winstons or something?
No, I think my dad did. I don't know. I just remember Winston, like Winston Cup racing. You know?
Yeah. That's a good one. So, well, I know you got to get going, so appreciate it, man.
Great
Thanks for
time, El
hanging out with
Capitano.
us.
Thanks for having me stop
You
by.
got it, buddy. All right. Oh, wait. First, our friend Mark says special occasion today that C-Bomb is in. Yeah, he dropped off some caffeinated beverages. So, shout out to our friend Mark. So,
Good talk, Mark. Good see.
all right, we got to take our final break here, and maybe we won't upset more people out there on a Tuesday.
Well,
So,
it is a grind my gears Tuesday. I mean, people are. You got them amped up. They're ready to go.
well, apparently,
Was that our Mark, by the way?
yeah.
Is it? He's got to text you and let us know how the baseball team's going to be this summer.
I think they got another tryout coming up for the 17th.
All right,
for American Legion. So
I'm looking forward to it. I got to get down there and see some Legion games. We got some good baseball talent in this town. We got to see them out on the diamond this summer.
Yep. So, all right, buddy. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, El Capitano.
We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back to wrap up the first hour after these quick words. Looking for a great spot to unwind in Eau Claire? Well, then you need to check out the VFW Post at 305 and take in the view from their gorgeous back patio. It's one of the best in town. Whether you're meeting some friends, enjoying a cold beverage, or just soaking up a summer evening, this is the place to be. With live bands, fun events, and something happening all the time, there's always a reason to stop on by. VFW Post 305, great views, great vibes right here in Eau Claire. Coming up next hour, we'll talk a little Bucks with Giannis. The latest ESPN report from Shams, everybody's favorite NBA reporter, Shams, which probably is no big surprise, but he said yesterday, according to sources, that the Bucks are seeking trade offers for the Greek Freak. But if you actually read the piece on there too on ESPN, it does say that the Bucks are also leaving the door open to pursue a major trade to persuade Giannis to stay once again. So, I mean, are we that surprised? I'm not that surprised. I don't think a lot of people are surprised at this point in time where Giannis and this whole, I mean, an ESPN report kind of coming out and saying that the Bucks are open for business. That shouldn't surprise anybody. I don't think that's breaking news or earth-shattering news, especially when they kind of like, well, but there is still the possibility that they could persuade him to want to stay and such. So, I mean, I think it's a little overblown. It draws clicks. It draws some content and such. But, yeah, nothing new, really, in my opinion. But that's just mine. Who knows? So. But we'll get back to some more baseball talk, too, as we get set for Brewers taking on the Padres. We'll preview this matchup coming up in the next hour. We'll take a look at Brandon Sproats, still looking for his first win on the season, but he's coming off of performance against the Cardinals where he went 4 innings, giving up just 1 hit, had 5 strikeouts, did issue 3 walks in that contest. But we'll kind of preview that and look on the other side with Waldron getting the start for the Padres. Matt Waldron, he is 1-1 in 4 games so far this year with a 7.71 ERA. But he is coming off that win against the Giants back on the 6th, where he went 5 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned run, and 7 strikeouts. So, also on the docket, I'm not saying, but I'm just saying you can send those on over. Hit us up with a text on that Shoe Doctor's bullpen line at 715-830-1912. Or you can leave a comment in the Section 105 chats. And if you are a first-time texter, leave a name so we can address it, so we can address you by name. Even if you've got issues with myself. So, but anyways, and then we'll keep you posted if any other football games kind of get dropped. But if you just missed it, week 1, the first Monday night football game is going to be Chiefs versus Broncos. So it probably means that the NFL is pretty confident that Patrick Mahomes is going to be the starting quarterback for week 1. Probably pretty safe bet that they're feeling like he's going to be good to go. Otherwise, I don't think they put Chiefs first Monday night football game if their backup is going to be, it's Justin Fields, right? I don't think they would start off the season scheduling Justin Fields versus Bo Nix. And I guess, Bo Nix, I think they're probably confident that both those quarterbacks, Patrick Mahomes and Bo Nix, are going to be healthy and ready to go to start the season at week 1. So, but anything else? That might be the only one that gets dropped this morning if they kind of follow a similar timeline to what they did yesterday. But, yeah, we'll see. Nothing really has leaked in terms of the Packers schedule yet, at least from what I've seen on social media. So, okay. We only got a couple minutes left here. I know Morgs is going to stop by here. We got a couple more Giannis texts here. This is from Josh. Josh, first-time texter, saying, I do think Giannis is going to be back. I'm just sick and tired of all the drama that is surrounding this thing. I don't think that ESPN report was anything new. We'll get back to a couple more texts. We'll wrap up with Morgan Good morning, Morgan.
So how would you rate your latest Brewers game experience on a scale of like 1 to 5?
Probably like a 3.5.
That was a good one?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a favorite Brewers game that stands out in your memory?
Yeah, probably Game 5, 2011, Brewers walk-off in
Okay.
the postseason.
So what Hudson think of it overall?
He likes going to baseball games.
Does he get antsy to play if he's watching, or he likes to sit and watch the whole game too?
Yep.
So we're gonna do a Tuesday tussle type of theme for pet peeves. You can rank them just like your Brewers game on a scale of 1 to 5. Okay.
Okay.
Loud chewing or slurping?
5.
Okay, so then tell me this. As a society, why have we collectively decided that popcorn is the food for movie theaters? It's loud. It's annoying to eat. Why did that become the popcorn?
I guess I didn't think popcorn was allowed to eat.
It is if you're
Not if you chew with your mouth closed.
not very many people do, but it crunches.
Well, then that's the problem. If people are chewing with their mouth closed, that's the problem.
Why didn't we pick like pudding, something soft that nobody can smack
So
or chew?
you can make a bigger mess, and it's not as easy to clean up in between movies.
Yeah, but popcorn's messy too.
But it's easy to sweep up with a broom.
Which, speaking of movies, I don't really go to a lot of movies, but I happened to do a book and movie compare this weekend because I read Project Hail Mary.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen the movie?
Mm-mm.
I'm going to say the movie's better.
Oh.
Because the book is a little science heavy and the movie actually brings that stuff to light. It's a lot easier to like see gravity in or effect or not than to read about the physics involved and that kind of thing. So if you're looking for a movie, it's not too bad.
All right.
Okay, pet peeve rating on pens clicking. Somebody that clicks a pen.
Probably about 3.
How about cracking knuckles? Does it bother you?
No.
Do you do it yourself?
I can't.
You can't crack your
I
knuckles?
can only go like that. That's it. I can't do the other.
You've never cracked your knuckles?
I can only do that
Oh, I
part.
cracked my knuckles multiple times today. Satisfying. What about loud phone calls?
Are you talking about when people are on speakerphone walking around?
Is my biggest pet peeve.
That's about 4.5. It's just dumb. Why
Why
are you
do
doing
you
that?
put it on speakerphone? Yeah. When I was at the gym the other day, somebody was having a full-on conversation on speakerphone. I'm like, what would possess you?
Even like when I'm not on speakerphone at the house and I'm on a phone call, I'll go in a different room.
Yeah. And if you're in a public place, how can you even focus on the call?
Right.
Okay, pet peeve for people that wear excessive perfume or cologne. Even if it smells good.
Probably about a 2.5.
Not replying to texts or messages.
5.
Instant 5.
5.
Yeah, I barely got the sentence out of my mouth. But you can do it to other people?
If I don't respond to you right away, it probably means I really don't want to talk to you or I'm upset with you.
That message is pretty clear.
Yeah.
Also comes across in your face.
Yeah. So, all right. Thanks, Margs.
Hey, anytime.
1 to go. We'll be right back. All right, here we go. Second hour kicks off right now on this Tuesday morning. Coming up next hour, we'll catch up with RJ Cardinal, our Badger analyst down in Madison. We'll get the latest and greatest of with Wisconsin Badger sports. We'll talk a little softball with the softball team advancing to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2022. So we'll do a little football chat, maybe get some of the latest on some of the recruiting stuff for the football team and that. But we'll catch up with RJ coming up next hour, a little over an hour from now, and talk all things Badgers. We've got Brewers back at it tonight. 6:40 first pitch. Coverage will begin about 35 minutes prior on your radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM. Remember, make sure if you want to tune into the game, got to listen to it on the radio dials. You don't have to worry about a rain delay in this one, but just a note, if there ever is a rain delay, just make sure you're following the social media pages, all right? It'll be posted up on there if there is a rain delay. So you can check out on Facebook. Don't have to worry about it with this series because it's obviously in Milwaukee. But for future reference, if there is a rain delay, if you turn the radio on and there's no game, double check the Facebook pages and such just in case, because it might be postponed in that. But all right. So looking at this game one of this series with the Padres coming into town here with a battle with the Dodgers in the NL West. Brewers obviously coming off of a big sweep over the New York Yankees. So looking at this pitching matchup, there really isn't any experience. I mean, you got Luis and Hamilton with a game's worth of experience going up against Matt Waldron, and that's about it. And that is it. So can't really compare, history and that sort of thing. But we'll say this with Brandon Sproat, I think he is the next guy kind of on that line whenever Brandon Woodruff does come back. And assuming when Brandon Woodruff does come back, and if it's fairly soon, like we're being told, and there's not any hiccups, there's not any setbacks or issues, I wonder if Brandon Sproat is maybe the next person to maybe either move to the bullpen or potentially get sent down to AAA, because I think at this point they continue to roll with Logan Henderson, obviously Jacob Misiorowski, obviously Kyle Harrison. You throw Brandon Woodruff into that equation too. So you've got those four, right? Woodruff, Misiorowski, Kyle Harrison, Logan Henderson. Chad Patrick's already been moved to the pen, so maybe Sproat can stay in there. Maybe he stays in there. I know Pat Murphy, after Chad Patrick's bullpen appearance, would not confirm, would not set it in stone. That's, Patrick would never be a starter again or wouldn't start anymore or was taken out of the rotation and that. But, the other part in this thing, too, is if Brandon Sproat has some inconsistency, ups and downs, he's going to have the growing pains. You look at Robert Gasser, you look at Coleman Crow. Coleman Crow, I think, for a lot of Brewers fans, you'd like to see probably back in at the major league level because of his breaking ball stuff, his curveball. I mean, it was nasty. So is he the next guy potentially up? Is it Robert Gasser? Now, Gasser so far this season at AAA, he's appeared in 5 games. He has started 5 games. Struck out 25. Does have a 4.08 ERA. His last start comes back on the 6th. He went 4 innings in that game, gave up 4 hits, 2 earned runs. So he should be starting today, I would think, too. But, I mean, you kind of wonder with Sproat if he's going to kind of be that inconsistent player, maybe like a Chad Patrick at times. Would the Brewers bring in a Coleman Crow, bring him back up? Would they go with Robert Gasser? Do they stay with Brandon Sproat? So even with Chad Patrick, what looks like right now, with a move to the bullpen, I would say Sproat is next on that line, that thin line of hovering where he's got to continue to go out there and put together some really good performances, some solid performances to keep that spot in that starting rotation. I think once Brandon Woodruff's back, we know it's Woodruff, we know it's Harrison, we know it's Mizorowski, and I think Logan Henderson. I think he's solidified that spot in the rotation. I want to continue to see Logan Henderson getting starts at the major league level for the Crew. And then you factor in whenever Quinn Priester comes back. Kind of forgetting about him at times, too. If he can figure out the control issues, the command issues, does he maybe have a shot to be that fifth starter in this rotation over a Sproat? But I think right now they're going to be patient with Quinn Priester until he can really dial it in and figure out those issues that he's having right now for whatever reason with a little bit of control. We had somebody messaging, how's Cooper Pratt been performing in the last couple of games at the minor league level? Well, if we take a look at it from some of his numbers, let me bring it up here. So his last game back on the 10th, because they don't play on Mondays, just 2 at-bats, or let me go down here. That's not the right one. 4 at-bats. He did walk twice and scored 2 runs. Okay. So in the month of May right now, hasn't been that great. Just kind of looking at, in the month of May, he's only collected 4 hits. Yeah, 4 hits in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games. Okay, so 8 games, 4 hits. How many ABs? So 4 for 32. Not great. I mean, he's just 125 in the month of May, 282 on base, 219 slugging. He was at the beginning, end of April, beginning of May, he was hitting really, really, really well, but kind of cooled off since then. And I was looking at some stuff here too. There was a piece done by Jim Bowden in The Athletic talking about Cooper Pratt and maybe seeing when his debut is going to be. Bowden was talking about some of the long-term contracts handed to players at the beginning of their MLB careers, and Jim labeled actually Pratt as a, quote, high-risk deal. And a lot of it comes from his offensive numbers. He's great defensively. That's his calling card right now. Defensively, really good player. Major league ready. It's just that those offensive numbers haven't been there yet, haven't gotten there. So I guess that's the question is you look at what Joey Ortiz is doing offensively. We know he's a great defensive shortstop. You're getting next to nothing offensive production. Hamilton's offensive production is essentially bunt and get on, and then maybe potentially stealing first to get to second base. Is it worth it at this point in time to sub out Joey Ortiz for Cooper Pratt? Maybe for some people, because they'd be like, it's not that much of a difference, and Cooper Pratt's getting paid all that money, you might as well play him. Or do you take the mindset, be patient with him? It's not really that much of a difference in production standpoint, and if you're looking at numbers and the gap in that, so try to continue to work with him and hitting and getting better and more confidence in that. It's a tricky situation because I think we as fans, a lot of fans, we kind of have that internal timeline. When Cooper Pratt signed that deal, I think we just naturally kind of assumed, okay, he's going to be up pretty soon. We're going to see him pretty soon. And once he gets called up, probably going to stay there. And might have a stint down kind of maybe once or twice or whatever. But I think we just naturally had this timeline placed in our heads that once he signed that long-term deal, we're going to see him fairly soon. And the Brewers don't necessarily have that. And they're probably looking at this thing, we're going to be patient because when we do call him up, we want him to stay. And we want to make sure that he's offensively ready. And right now, it kind of seems like he's not offensively ready. That was just a few weeks ago, he was tearing the cover off the ball. It's kind of cooled off here, and I think the Brewers just want to see some consistency when it comes to him. And they haven't seen that yet. All right, let's talk some more. Let's talk some more baseball as we get set for this series against the Padres. Brewers currently in second place, chasing the Cubs, 3.5 games behind the Cubs, but the Brewers holding on to a very slight lead over the Cardinals in terms of win percentage for that second place spot. Cubs are going to be taking on the Braves. Cardinals are going to be taking on the Athletics. Pirates are going to be taking on Colorado, and the Reds are going to be taking on Washington. So still neck and neck within this division race as we approach the conclusion of the first quarter of the season, at least for the Brewers numbers-wise. We'll take a quick break. We'll talk some more baseball. We'll throw some more hoops chat in there, maybe a little football talk too. We'll be right back after these quick words. Sunshine, road trips, and summer adventures are calling. Is your vehicle ready? At AJM Automotive in Eau Claire, they'll make sure that you hit the road with confidence. From AC checks and oil changes to brakes and full-on inspections, AJM Automotive has you covered before the heat kicks in. With 2 convenient Eau Claire locations, expert service is always just around the corner. Don't let car trouble slow you down for your summer plans. Schedule your appointment today by visiting ajmautomotiveservices.com. AJM Automotive, keeping you cool, safe, and road trip ready all season long. Ben saying, do you think last night was the last time we've seen LeBron James in the NBA? I don't know. I know he was non-committal after the game and that, but I honestly don't know. He said, what was his line? Oh, I don't know what the future holds for me. I'm going to say no. I think he's got one more year. He said this was his full quote. I think you guys asked me about retirement, and I've answered questions. I don't think I've come out and been like, oh, retirement is coming. With my future, I don't know, honestly. It's still fresh from obviously losing the series, and I don't know. I don't know what the future holds for me. I left everything I could on the floor. I can leave the floor saying blank, even though I hate losing, obviously. I was locked in on what we needed to do. I tried to make sure our guys were locked in on what we needed to do throughout the postseason, throughout 10 games. I mean, he is up there in age, but he still averaged 20.9 points per game in the regular season, 6.1 rebounds per game, and 7.2 assists, and shot 51.5% from the field. So, even though he's 41, he'll be 42 halfway through, a little couple months after the season begins, the next season begins. He's still putting up really great numbers. And as much as we kind of look at LeBron, and we always get caught up, and I'm guilty of this too, but we always get caught up in the LeBron versus Jordan and Jordan 82 games and that. One thing you can't deny, though, I don't think, is the production you still get from LeBron James at this point in his career and at the age that he's at right now. Because a lot of players, in their 40s, early 40s, about to be 42, if you can get a player that's going to average 20 points per game, 7 dimes a game, 6 rebounds a game, a lot of teams would sign up for that. In a heartbeat. They would definitely take that. Just looking, what's been the career the last couple of years? Let me bring that up. Here we go. So last year, you've been seeing a little bit of a downward trend in terms of minutes played too. This year it was 33.2 minutes per game. Last year was 34.9, then 35.3, then 35.5, then 37.2. So it's been a little bit down, and his points per game has gone down a little bit. 20.9 this year, 24.4 last year, 25.7, 28.9, 30.3. So you have seen some drops, and I get it. There's, you got Luka, who's going to be, big-time scorer and such. Man, I didn't realize he's been with the Lakers already since 2018. I guess the COVID championship and such, but he's been with the Lakers longer than he was with Miami. I feel like he was with Miami for more than 4 years, but no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years he has played with the Lakers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7. His first year with Cleveland, and then 8, 9, 10, 11, 4 with the next run with Cleveland. So and consistency, like from beginning to end, he has been with the Lakers longer. Like eight years in a row. Cleveland was 7. Then it was another 4. But man, that doesn't seem. I don't consider LeBron a Laker. I don't. I'm just, yeah. When I think about LeBron, I still think Cavs. I know he has a couple up there with a couple championships with Miami net, but I guess I still consider him a Cav. That was bring that up because that was a question that somebody had just texted. Who do you consider, or what team do you consider LeBron when you think about him? I'd probably go Cavs. I don't know about the rest of you, but yeah. And maybe that's just because that's where he was drafted and spent the big chunk and then going back, and he's been there with 2 different stints, won just one championship there. But I'm still with the Cavs, I think. Hey, I know we're not going to talk to him until next Wednesday. I know tomorrow is our Inside the Hobby segment, but this is a really cool thing. So every Wednesday we talk with Ty from Slab Factory, right? For a little cards talk, trading, hobbies, and all that. If you didn't see the news, so Ty from Slab Factory here, he pulled an incredibly rare card. It's up on auction right now. It's making national news. 1-of-1 Tom Brady card. It's Tom Brady autographed card, but it's going for 6 figures right now in the Fanatics auction. The last I checked. Let me see if I can find the link really quick here. Here we go. It is currently at $170,000. Still 9 days left on this auction too. 170, a 2025 Topps Chrome Legends Superfractor Tom Brady auto, 1-of-1. And our guy that you hear every other Wednesday is the one who pulled it. So it's a really cool story. Can go check it out. It's all over the place right now. Story broke yesterday and such. But man, can you imagine pulling something like that? Okay. Let me throw a scenario out to you. Okay. You pull that card. Let's pretend that maybe you collect cards. You pull that card. You're not a Tom Brady fan. You pull that card. Or a card that is worth a lot of money. And let's take away if it's your favorite team or your favorite player. Because I think that then you have a little bit more of a sentimental attachment to it, that you might want to hold on to it. So if you pulled, let's say you're a Brewers fan and a rare Robin Yount card or something like that, or a Packers fan and you pull a Jordan, whatever, take that away. But you pull a very rare, expensive card. Are you holding on to that thing in hopes of maybe the card increasing in value? Or are you flipping that thing right away and jumping in on the cash right away, getting in on the auction and cashing out? Like, I'm not a fan of this player, so I'm just going to cash out. Or you're like, okay, I'm going to hold on to it for a bit. Maybe a little bit risky, but to see if the value goes up. I'm not going to pretend like I know a whole lot about the market, and that's why we have Ty come on every other Wednesday and such to kind of break it down. But part of me would feel like it's a 1-of-1 of Tom Brady. I don't know if that would go down necessarily. But what would you do? What would you do? All right, let's all right, we got Aaron saying for the Tom Brady card, I'd wait until 2028 and put it up the day he is inducted into the Hall of Fame. Surveyor says that card would pay off my mortgage, right? I mean, that's a lot of money. If you're told that you could get that right now, it's hard not to, man. I've seen some shows. I was watching a little bit. What's the one on Netflix? I was watching a long time ago with my kid. King of Auctions. Is it the golden one? Some of those cards. Whew, it would be hard for. I'll be honest with you. I'm selling it. If I don't have an emotional attachment to it, and you're telling me that I could get 6 figures, and like Surveyor said, I could pay off a mortgage, I could pay off some loans, I could do this, I'm selling it. Now, if it was a Packers one or a Brewers one, I'll be honest, I might hold on to that a little bit because of the emotional attachment to it. And that's probably not the best business advice when it comes to collecting stuff in that. But Jake from State Farm says, not to sound morbid, I'd wait till the player passed away and look to sell and strike when the iron's hot. And I know that's been a thing too. But man, six figure, I think I'd jump in on that and pay off some stuff. Whew. What would you do though? All right. What would you do? Let me know. Hit me up. Shoot me up with a text or send it on the Section 105 chat room where Paul's over there saying, I would sell that card ASAP. All right. By the way, Paul, we're good on giveaways. I got your email, but yeah, we're still good. We still got a few here. So thanks, Paul. It's good to hear from you. It's been a hot minute, but we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back after these few words. Summer is here, and that means it is time to get outdoors, to make some memories, and to be ready for whatever the season brings. That's where Tilden Gun comes in. Whether you're gearing up for target practice, heading to the range, or preparing for your next outdoor adventure, Tilden Gun has the selection and expertise to get you set up right. From firearms and ammunition to accessories and safety gear, they've got everything that you need, all backed by knowledgeable service that you can trust. At Tilden Gun, it's not just about what you buy. It's about making sure you feel confident, informed, and ready every time you head out. So this summer, don't just enjoy the great outdoors, be prepared for it. Stop by Tilden Gun today and see why they are a trusted name for shooters and outdoor enthusiasts alike. And don't forget, if you do have any luck in the outdoors, if it's fishing or maybe you're still out there for some spring turkey hunting and such, send those on over to the Sports Talk Facebook page so we can post them up and do a little bragging on your behalf. All right. Again, whether it's fishing or your spring turkey season, send those on over so we can post them up. All right. Somebody had texted in a little bit earlier. Don't have a name. Give me some names so I can give you some cred. But talking a little bit about the schedule, saying I'm definitely interested to see when the Packers and Bears are matched up this year. I'm hoping that they don't play. That I'm assuming they is Packers. I'm hoping they don't play the Bears until Micah Parsons is back. So I think a lot of Packers fans are like that, and I'm sure there's probably the Bears fans that are on the opposite side of that, or maybe they don't care. They don't care one bit. But we'll find out soon enough. I don't. I feel no. I was gonna say I feel like they're gonna announce one of these games that they've been kind of leaking out here a little bit every day. I feel like one of them is gonna be Packers Bears, but I don't know now. No, I don't think. I'm trying to think what one. It would have to be like a marquee day. You know what I mean? Because they've already done the first Thursday night. They've already announced the first Monday night. They've already announced the first Sunday night. We know the opener is Seattle. We know some of the international games. So it would have to be like another Thanksgiving game or a Christmas one, Black Friday. But Packers-Bears is going to be a marquee game just because it's I think it's fair to say right now Packers-Bears rivalry has upped up. Is it okay? I'll throw it out to the rest of you. Has Packers-Bears in terms of the rivalry, it might be a little bit different considering the area that we are in. But has Packers-Bears leaped over the Vikings in terms of the rivalry? Now, again, a lot of us in the Chippewa Valley and such may still be Packers-Vikings because of the proximity that we have to Minnesota, and we probably know maybe more Minnesota fans. So that's still going to be the number one rivalry. But honestly, for me, it's Packers-Bears, just because of what happened last year. And yes, the long history. We know that. We know it's the longest running rival in NFL history. But for a long time, I mean, Packers just owned the Bears. But give credit to where credit's due. As much as it pains me to say, Bears had their way with Green Bay. I shouldn't say had their way, but Bears won 2 out of 3 against Green Bay last year, including that postseason game. So, advantage Chicago right now. And, of course, all the chit-chat between, Ben Johnson and trash talk and all that, it does up the ante a little bit. A few more people chiming in on the card take. It's about 50-50 right now. Whether you would sell that thing or hold on to it. I would sell it. That's just me. Because, again, I don't have the emotional attachment to it. It's not my favorite player. It's not my favorite team. So, and it would be hard to not pay off some bills and maybe actually take a vacation. That'd be kind of cool. So, but keep your picks or keep your thoughts coming on that. What would you do if you pulled the card that could be worth 6 figures? Do you hold on to it or do you sell that thing right away? And I think it is a little bit different that it's Tom Brady, right? I mean, we know he's not playing more. We know he's like the GOAT. I think it would be a little bit different if it's maybe a young, up-and-coming player where the risk might be a little bit high. But Randy says, I would sell that car to put money away to help my daughter buy land for a horse farm. I like that one. Thanks for sharing that, Randy. Okay. Back to a little baseball talk here as we get set for Brewers versus Padres tonight. The Padres are going to be entering tonight's game in first place in the NL West after the Dodgers fell last night to San Francisco. The Padres currently own a half-game lead over the Dodgers for first place in the NL Central. What do the Padres do well? What is it about the Padres? Where do they kind of stack up in some of the statistics, the stats, the rankings so far this season? Well, let's take a look at their power. All right. Do they hit the home run ball? Are they a home run hitting team? You know, we just had the Yankees coming in. And the Yankees are still the leaders in Major League Baseball in home runs, even though they just got swept by Milwaukee in kind of a home run hitting park. But looking at where the Padres land on this list, by the way, the Brewers are still last place, but they're just one behind the Giants right now for second to last. Padres are 20th. They have the 20th most home runs, 39 this year. In terms of RBIs, Milwaukee is a top 10 team. They're number 7. The Padres, they come in on this list at number 22. So the Padres so far this year, 163 RBIs. The Brewers, 187. In terms of strikeouts, the Brewers are the third best in terms of fewest strikeouts. Toronto and Tampa Bay are the two only teams that are ahead of them. The Padres, they're 12th, so just above middle of the pack. The Brewers have struck out 302 times this year, as on the offensive side, the Padres at 333. OPS numbers, best is the Braves at 784. The Brewers coming in at 23 with an OPS of a 686, and the Padres 667. So the Padres have the third worst OPS. Brewers, I mean, they're not far off on that either. So kind of some similar offensive numbers when you take a look at it. Even like stolen bases, they're tied for the 5th most. Brewers and Padres, 40. Pitching now. Let's take a look at pitching. The teams that have struck out opposing batters the most. Brewers tied for 7th. 366 strikeouts. The Padres, as a team, they're 15th, so right in the middle, 350. Team ERA. Braves are the best. New York is right behind them, but the Braves 3.14, the Yankees 3.15, then it's the Dodgers at a 3.42, and then it's your Milwaukee Brewers at a 3.43. Padres, again, about middle of the pack. They're 16th, 4.07. Average, opponent's batting average, Milwaukee top 10. They're 7th. Opponent's batting average against them is a 226. Padres, not far off, though, 234. That's 11th best in Major League Baseball. So let's do one more. In terms of walks, the team that has issued the fewest amount of walks here is the Mariners, just 102. The Padres don't walk a ton of batters either. They're top 10. They're number 9, 130 on this list. Brewers, 10 back. They're 13th. So there's a lot. If we just look at it from a number standpoint, there is quite a bit of similarities between the two. Maybe the Brewers, offensively especially, I think there's some similarities. But I think maybe just a slight advantage for the Brewers when it comes to the pitching. that seems to be where a slight advantage is when you look at, ERAs and strikeouts and opponent's batting average and such. It's not a big margin by any means. But that seems to be maybe the key for the Brewers to win this series is they're going to have to rely on their pitching to kind of shut down that Padres offense. Now, when you look at the Padres, and obviously we went through the team offensive numbers and such, right? But when we look at, let me bring it up here. Where did my Padres tab go here? Here we go. So when we look at the Padres and some of their dudes that are performing so far this year, I mean, you look at, Bogarts right now is hitting 268 with a 779 OPS. He's got 7 home runs to lead the ball club. Manny Machado's got 6, but he's hitting just 191 with a 647 OPS. So I'm sure Manny Machado will get a warm reception going back to Milwaukee and AmFam Field, right? I mean, yeah. Fernando Tatis, he has not gotten a home run yet this year, but just a little surprising. He's hitting 243, hasn't gotten a home run yet this year. When you look at, Michael King's on here with just kind of looking at their pitching staff. Mason Miller, that's the thing too. If the Brewers get into a late game situation, late 8th, 9th inning, and the Padres are handing the ball off to Mason Miller to close it out, Padres have it. Mason Miller right now is probably the best closer in the game. That dude is ridiculous. .96 ERA. The heat that comes from his fastball is just ridiculous. If you have not seen him play or have not seen him pitch, man, that guy is impressive. That is another key for this team is the Brewers, if they're behind and they get into late 8th inning, 9th inning, and the Padres are going to hand the ball off to Mason Miller, game over. I don't think the Brewers can do any damage. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope that's if they get in that case that they can. But this is a guy nearly 19 innings pitched, and he's only given up 2 earned runs. And he has struck out 38 batters. Compare that to Michael King, who has started 8 games, and he has pitched 45, almost 46 innings, 45 and 2/3 innings. 45 batters he has struck out. Mason Miller, in 18 and 2/3, 38 strikeouts. That is a ridiculous strikeout to inning ratio. Nuts. All right, we got to take a quick break as we start to wrap up the second hour and approach halftime. We'll be right back after these few words. Next Wednesday, March 20th, Hy-Vee in Eau Claire is doing a veterans breakfast celebrating America's 250th birthday. So from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m., veterans and active military can enjoy a free breakfast at Hy-Vee in Eau Claire. So stop on by, grab your breakfast, and don't forget to every Wednesday in the month of May at Hy-Vee, get free coffee. Get a free cup of coffee. So that's every Wednesday in the month of May. But next Wednesday, May 20th, from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m., is the free breakfast for veterans and active military members. So, okay, we just have a couple minutes left to the top. So coming up next hour, if you have any more Grind My Gears, Toyson Ford Grind My Gears Tuesdays, please send those on over. We'll do a little sports confessions as well. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. Send those to the Shoe Doctors bullpen line at 715-830-1912. Or again, you can hit us up on the Section 105 chat room on our YouTube station. So we'll get back to some of those comments here in just a little bit. We're going to talk with RJ Cardinal in, let's say, about 20-ish minutes or so. We'll talk some Badgers with him. Badger softball, they're going to be at the NCAA tournaments, clinching a spot for the first time since 2022. So we'll hit that up and all the latest and greatest news and nuggets coming from Badgerland down in Madison. So we'll hit that up and probably talk some college stuff with him too. I know spring kind of, with graduation approaching and kind of the end of the sports season and such, maybe a little light on some stuff, but there's plenty to cover in the college sports landscape. So Ben says, what grinds my gears is the NFL schedule on the NFL releasing a game each day or a couple games each day. Just release the whole thing. But nope, it's the NFL, and they play us like a fiddle, and we always buy into it. You're not the only person I've seen kind of mention that. Just, really say it's a marketing thing. They're toying, they're putting a little carrot out in front, they're getting people excited, they're building it up until, Thursday when it completely drops. I get it, but it kind of gets a little bit more, little annoying too. So I hear you. And to kind of feed off that, Travis says, I have a confession. It kind of relates to the schedule release, but I have a confession. I really look forward to the schedule release. I know people kind of get annoyed with it, and some people say that we already know who they're playing and where they are playing. But when that schedule gets dropped, I feel like we are just maybe one more step closer to football season, my favorite time of the year. And I plan a lot of my fall schedules around the NFL schedule release. It's one of my favorite times of the year because that means we are just a little bit closer to football season. So my confession is I am a NFL nerd and a schedule release nerd. Hey, that's cool. Thanks for sharing that, man. Appreciate it. What else do you got for some confessions? Send those puppies on over, okay? All right, shot clock's going to cut me off, so we'll kick off the next hour. Hoops wise, you got the honest story. It's a story, but it's a non-story. Okay, the Bucks apparently to ESPN and Shams, they're open for business, but they're also open to finding, making a move to convince Giannis to stay. Nothing new, but got to throw it out there. Got to talk about it, right? I think it's nothing new, but so we'll hit that up. We'll get back to some more baseball talk with the Brew Crew, taking on the Padres for a 3-game series in Milwaukee starting tonight. And after this 3-game series, we'll have one quarter in the books for the Brewers this season. We'll have some news updates, and we'll be right back after these quick words. All right, halftime is over with, and we are on to the third quarter, third hour on this Tuesday morning of May 12th. Thanks for hanging out with us and making us a part of your starts. We're going to talk with RJ Cardinal coming up in about 15, 20 minutes or so. We'll talk all things Badgers with him, get the latest and greatest in Badgertown. It is a Toyson Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday. What is grinding your gears? I got one that I'll get to here in a second from a texter, but you can let us know, hitting us up, 715-830-1912. Also, your sports confessions, and I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. We've got Mitch with a quick text on that Shoe Doctor's bullpen line saying, what grinds my gears is the Dallas Cowboys. I don't understand the fascination with them. Yet two of the premier games that have already been announced have involved the Cowboys. When was the last time they have even won anything? It's funny you say that, Mitch. I was kind of thinking the same thing yesterday, and I was trying to come up with a comparison for the Cowboys. Like, the Cowboys are like what? So if anybody's got a good comparison that I can actually read on the air that's clean and appropriate, send it on over. But I mean, I get it. They've got a huge fan base. They got Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones has turned them into a brand. There's no question about it. But let's be real too. You're right. When was the last time that the Cowboys have won anything of significance? 90s, right? I mean that's about it. But they draw attention. It's like LeBron and the Lakers or whatever. Baseball, Yankees. The difference is, though, LeBron and the Lakers are going to the postseason. The Yankees are going to the postseason here. Cowboys have made it, a couple times here or there, or it's really quick exits and such. How would we compare the Cowboys? What can we compare them to? I was trying to really think about, like, they're almost a reality TV show where it's annoying, but you can't turn away, or it's annoying, but they still get the clicks and the draws and the attention and the dollars. That's the biggest thing when it comes to this whole thing, right? They bring in the money, they bring in the moolah, they bring in the attention. And honestly, I feel like a lot of times, too, when you watch a game and it's the Cowboys, I don't know of another football game, baseball game, NBA game, whatever, where the cameras are going constantly to Jerry Jones and that Dallas suite. So is it more about the Cowboys or is it more about Jerry Jones? You know what I mean? Because I don't know of another owner that kind of holds court after a game, talks to the media, does all those radio shows, and he loves it. Loves doing it, embraces it, all about it. But man, for the life of me, I don't know of another owner where so many times that camera will pan up just to get a reaction, just to see what the reaction is. If he's fist pumping or if, they're getting dominated, just to see what his face looks like. I hear you, though. I hear you. But it all comes down to one thing. It's about the money. It's about what sells ratings and gets viewers. And right now, it's still the Cowboys. I'm trying to think of another team that has that. Is it the Yankees in baseball? Another team that even if they're down, like having a poo-poo year or a poor year, they're still going to draw the attention. They're still going to draw, the moneymaker in that. Is it the Yankees in baseball? I don't think there's another one in the NFL at this point in time. Maybe Green Bay. I'd probably put Green Bay on that category just because of the pure dedication and following that Packers fans have. But I feel like even there's Cowboys fans that are frustrated with the Cowboys and don't want Jerry Jones and that. But, yeah. What is it? Oh, it's okay. I saw the Packers tweet out something about Christian Watson. Apparently, it's just his birthday. All right, I thought there was something with Watson, but nope. Well, happy birthday, Christian Watson, if you're listening anyways. So, another grind my gears is this is from Matt. Matt says, what grinds my gears now is this NBA offseason is going to be nothing but Giannis trade talk and LeBron retirement talk. Enough is enough with that. Whoa, should have saved that for enough is enough. But no, yeah, buckle up. Because I'll even add one more element to this with LeBron James. Not only is it retirement talk, he is a free agent too. So is it possible that he could go to a different team? I honestly feel like if he plays next year, it'll be with the Lakers. I don't see him going anywhere else. I think he is now a West Coast, warmer weather type of player at this point in his career, and really get to play still with Luka. Warriors, I mean, no. I mean, maybe with Steph Curry and Steve Kerr coming, I guess never say never, but no, but that'll be a talking point. It'll be a talking point for a lot of people, right? Where's he going to go? Who's he going to sign? Where should he go? What team should make a play for him, even though it's going to be the Lakers? So LeBron and Giannis talk all season long. All off season long. John says, good morning, Dan. What grinds my gears? Brewers still keeping Joey Ortiz at shortstop. He was terrible against the Yankees last week. Can we finally move on from the guy? I think the thing that's holding this up is just the consistency of Cooper Pratt from an offensive standpoint. The debate, I think, is between this. Both are superb defenders, Cooper Pratt and Joey Ortiz, if we're using those two as the examples. Both are major league defenders, superb defenders. But right now, they're both very similar from an offensive standpoint. Now, the arrow, I think, points up for Cooper Pratt, as in there's more potential there. There's more potential for improvement from Cooper Pratt from an offensive standpoint. But I think the debate is, do you bring up Cooper Pratt now to replace Joey Ortiz and just say, hey, it can't get any worse or it'll be about the same? But does that stunt the potential growth of a Cooper Pratt from an offensive side of things? Or do you still keep him down in the minors? Because, again, it's not that much of a gain in the offense, and let him try to figure it out from a consistency standpoint. Last week, a couple weeks ago, he was tearing the ball off the cover. It's kind of cooled down now since. But I think that's the debate here that the Brewers, in my opinion, are trying to figure out. Now, if Cooper Pratt was, let's say this season was 280, hell, 260, I think he's up. And I think we have put this timeline on, when you get that contract signed, you sign that long-term deal for a guy who has yet to make his major league debut. We as fans kind of put a timeline on it, especially when the incumbent is playing not well at all. And I'm right there with everybody too. Like I hate having an automatic out. And I don't want to speak completely ill will of Joey Ortiz. But it just feels like at this point it's an automatic out. And it feels like if we get a hit, take it and run with it and use it. It's almost like getting an interception in football. You better use it if you get a hit from Joey Ortiz, or it's going to be at a big moment. Again, I hate saying that, and I hate piling on and being negative about it, but, I mean, just look at the numbers. It's just not there. And maybe Joey Ortiz would get a benefit of getting some reps in minor league. Because I think if you call up Cooper Pratt, you might as well send Joey Ortiz down and let him play shortstop at Nashville. Figure out the hitting. If he could just figure it out, man, that's a everyday starting shortstop in Major League Baseball. But right now, he's not an everyday starting shortstop in Major League Baseball. His defense is what's holding on and continuing his career at the Major League level right now. But it's frustrating from the offensive side of things to watch the approach. There's just no confidence. You watch him, and as soon as he gets in that 0-2 count, and it feels like it's really quick. I got to look this up. Survey, I don't know if you have the ability to do it, but I would love to look up his average amount of pitches per at bat, because they seem really quick. It feels like he's up there, and within 2 pitches, it's already an 0-2 count. I could be completely off on that. It just kind of feels like that. And as soon as it's 0-2, it's like, oh, son of a gun. And then he's swinging, low in the dirt. Hustle in, hustle out. It's frustrating. All right, we got to take a quick break. We'll talk some Badgers with Mr. RJ Cardinal. He's coming up after these quick words. Summer is right around the corner, and that means it is time to freshen up your home from the ground up with Carpet City Flooring Center. Whether you are hosting backyard get-togethers, opening the doors to family and friends, or you're just ready for a seasonal refresh, new flooring can completely transform your space. From soft, comfortable carpet to durable luxury vinyl planks, Carpet City Flooring Center has everything you need to bring your vision to life. And it's not just about the looks. It's about quality that you can count on and expert guidance every step of the way. Their team is ready to help you find the perfect fit for your style, your needs, and your budget. So before summer officially kicks off, make sure your home is ready to shine. Stop on into Carpet City Flooring Center in Eau Claire today and take the first step towards a space that you will love all season long. Let's switch gears here for a little bit. Surveyor's got me some nuggets there on Ortiz, which I'll get to here in a second. So thanks to Surveyor for that. But let's get to our guy, Mr. R.J. Cardinal, who is joining us this morning. Good morning, R.J. How you doing, bud?
Oh, doing pretty good. How are you?
Not bad, dude. Not bad at all. Hey, let's lead it off. Badger softball back in the back in the big dance for the first time since 2022. I know they had that big win against Oregon in the conference tournament in that, but now they're in the big dance, if you will, since 2022. So looking at the softball team over the years, RJ, when you look at spring sports with Wisconsin, I know we got track and field and all that, but has softball been one of the more consistent sports in terms of the talent and what they've been able to produce on the field over the last few years?
They've become one of them. When they first started out, it was, like any first-time program, just getting things all together, and it's really not that old of a program. I think the first year was 1996. I think that I'm pretty sure that's when it originally started, maybe 95, but still not the oldest of programs. And yeah, as of late, they've been competitive and get the occasional berth to the NCAA tournament, and just have been competitive in the Big Ten, which even with the addition of the West Coast teams has now become one of the top conferences, along with the Big 12 and SEC in terms of softball. It's good to see, back for the first time since 2022. You got an upset of the number 11 team in the country, the number 2 seed in the NCAA tournament, and then having to turn around and just kind of get shellacked in the next game. But it kind of looked like they were maybe a little tired. So I don't think a lot of people are expecting anything in the NCAA tournament here, but they are in the Austin, Texas regional, and their first game comes Friday versus Baylor. So we'll see how that goes. I believe it's double elimination. So over 3 days, we'll see what happens.
All right, good stuff there. I want to go back to some basketball, RJ. And last week, a topic of discussion was Donovan Davis, who elected to go to Iowa State, chose Iowa State over the likes of Wisconsin and Marquette. He is a Wisconsin native. And, we had listeners, we had people, kind of being critical about Greg Gard missing out on another in-state recruit and such. I guess first part, I'm kind of curious, was that the same kind of talk and narrative down in Madison? And is that still a big deal? Because I feel like this even goes back to the Bo Ryan era, and I'll go to like Diamond Stone, and we've talked about that, I think, just recently too, and there's a lot of other extenuating circumstances with that. But, given the current state of college basketball and such, is this still a big deal with in-state prospects that may only play a year or two to keep them in Wisconsin? What was the talk like down in Madison last week with that?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have your detractors. I mean, there's still the people out there being like, he wasn't coming here anyway. I think it was just kind of like we've seen in the past where kids have either included Marquette or Wisconsin and not chosen either of them. So tell me what Shaka Smart's doing, the same as Greg Gard. Neither of them are really keeping the in-state talent here. Neither of them have the greatest track record of NBA talent. I guess when you hang your hat on Frank Kaminsky being the guy who's been in the NBA as your feather in your cap, some people don't want to be a journeyman, I guess, and have a good career, make a lot of money, meet Ashley Brewer and marry her. People just don't want that. Yeah, it's a case where Iowa State is also not winning. Like, sure, they've made a couple more Sweet 16s than Wisconsin, but I don't see them winning a national championship. They get NBA talent to the NBA. Ooh, pardon me there.
Excuse you.
Yeah. They get NBA talent to the NBA. So if that's your goal, and you're looking to be a 1 or 2 and done, go right ahead. Get your playing time in and be a part of that. Wisconsin, we've talked about, has made the transition to a more eye-catching offense that even high schoolers and now transfer portal guys want to be a part of. And Wisconsin has now have more of a focus, I guess, on the transfer portal as well as pro leagues overseas, and bringing in guys doing that. And you can also see where if somebody's good enough as a freshman to come in and play, they'll play. I don't think we're at a point anymore where the system has to earn their playing time. If you're NBA ready, but you still need to end up going to at least 1 year of college, you'll play wherever you go. And then it just becomes, I guess, NIL scenario there. I don't know what the NIL is at Iowa State. All you hear is people are like, well, you can tell how drastic of a situation Wisconsin is because the NIL is so bad we are losing kids to Iowa State. Maybe it's because, and I mean, granted, both Marquette and Wisconsin's coaches are from the state as well, but you have Iowa State with a head coach who also is from the state. Maybe he has better relationships with the state coaches. I don't know, but it is one of those now where there's enough people out there, probably still negative recruiting, saying you don't want to go to Wisconsin, even though people have eyes and there's more ways to watch college basketball now than ever. They still believe negative recruiting and things like that. Maybe it's because they didn't have the money to offer him in NIL that he wanted to see. I one way or another, I don't know, but it also is a lot to say Marquette isn't getting that either when Shaka Smart's main focus is high school incoming freshmen. So whichever way you want to look at it, you can continue to be the Greg Gard is not a good coach, except every transfer in so far that's been the higher profile guy has had statistically their best year of their career in college before they leave Wisconsin.
So would you say, you kind of use the Shaka Smart example of looking at high school freshmen and such, is it safe to say Greg Gard's maybe changed the Wisconsin approach? And I mean, you look at the success of the transfers, the senior transfers the last few years. Is that kind of the approach with Wisconsin right now?
Well, I mean, we've seen them bring in more international talent as well as look at the transfer portal. They are still bringing in freshmen. I mean, the last class was 2, I think. But I mean, it's the way it goes now. Indiana football, most of their team was transfer students. Michigan, they had one guy return from last season who was a bench player, and everybody else was a transfer student. It's just the day and age we're in where you maybe don't have to develop talent. You can find a talent that could fit in your system, and that person is going to excel. And I think that's where Wisconsin is. I think they kind of identified what they needed to do. And you see some of the guys who were freshmen here who end up transferring out, or even guys who transferred in and then transferred out end up still sitting on a bench or, having average careers once they leave Wisconsin. I'm not saying they wouldn't have been great here or, had the chance to go be great elsewhere. It's just one of those optic things where you kind of follow people. And look at Daniel Freitag. He did pretty good at Buffalo this year. He turned that into another a transfer. We'll see what he does next year. But it's one of those, it's not really a wait for your time anymore. So it pays when I think Wisconsin identified early, at least on the basketball side of things, how NIL and the transfer portal is going to work. And I think that might be one of the newer philosophies they have, where you have a coach on staff that you brought in that had a lot of experience working with international players. You had Kirk Penny, who was had experience in going down to Australia, New Zealand, and a couple other overseas leagues that he had connections with that brought over players. There's Wisconsin players who are in overseas right now who you've heard talk about, oh yeah, I've seen this kid, you might want to reach out to him. He'd be a junior. And you hear stories like that now, like Brad Davison. I forget which athlete it was, but was like, oh yeah, I played against him, and now he's here. And then Sam Decker with Victory, pretty sure it was Victory, where he basically was like, yeah, he was on our practice squad, and he was a freak of an athlete, and I knew he'd be good in college, and yeah, so it does seem there's a network of overseas talent that is helping Wisconsin unpaid in the scouting department. But yeah, it seems to be a shift away from your traditional all freshman recruiting classes that Wisconsin has moved into.
Going over to football, I know the Badgers lost out on offensive tackle Cameron Wagner going to Oregon, which he announced on the Pat McAfee show, and Wisconsin was a finalist on there too. But speaking of football and such, or staying with football, I know there's been a lot of talk with the 2027 class, kind of looking at some of those, and we've talked about some of the, like Jim Sorgi and that, but looking at some of these players and looking at some of them that have committed so far in that, how excited should we be? Is it still kind of like with everything in college sports where the decommits and that? Like, how do you approach, I guess is what I'm asking, when you see players committing, even though they could potentially, still change their mind? Do you get all excited about these commits?
Not particularly,
yeah,
because there's still a lot of time for teams to come in and give them a better offer, unless something is signed, and that's not really something that's shared. So yeah, we'll find out. The class right now, it's like we talked last week, a lot of early kids, where it was 14th, it's already dropped to 16th. So as we get more bigger programs adding their multiple 5-star recruits, Wisconsin's ranking will go down. But I mean, like we talked last week, it's started higher than it has in a long time. They're back in on the in-state recruiting, and quite frankly, some of the last few classes that they only got 1, maybe 2 kids out of, it wasn't the deepest. When Wisconsin's top in-state recruit was a high 3-star, and there's been other ways where that person wouldn't have played here. You could have gotten the number 1 kid in the state and maybe wouldn't have played here. A top 10 kid in the state might not have played here in his 3 to 4 years, or transfer out after 1 season because the writing's on the wall. I mean, that still is a case here at Wisconsin where that can happen. But this recruiting class, I mean, even some like the 10th rated kid was getting picked up offers from national programs, and not just like the regional big names, but like the national names, and they stayed home. And it wasn't the case of, you had a kid who is a legacy at Notre Dame. You didn't have a kid whose brother ended up going to Michigan. You didn't have things like that. And so it appears there was open recruiting, whatever they were promised in NIL, I don't know. But it's one of those where I like the recruiting class where it's at. Can it get bigger? I don't know, because quite frankly, you're at 12 kids. I mean, you're going to have to think about at the end of the year anyway, even if the coaching staff stays, that transfer portal window will open, and there'll be a lot of people who enter it. That's just the way it is nowadays. I don't know if this is going to get bigger. I hope it does. I know they're in a lot of discussion and top fives and whatever for some 4-star and 5-star prospects here, but where we fall on that, I don't know what's left in the NIL for next year and what that whole thing is going to be moving forward. We saw an influx of good transfer portal talent this year, so we can only assume that means NIL contribution for football went up, and we'll see how that comes to fruition on the field this fall. But I'm liking what I see out of the 27 class. Where it goes moving forward, I don't know, because until that early signing period and these guys put their name on a dotted line, there could be a decommit along the way somewhere. So it's one of those. It's awesome to see. Don't not getting my hopes up until we see the best, like one of the now 2 days for the fax machine to be used. But once they start posting signed, that's when I'll get happy about seeing the in-states and the legacies coming to Wisconsin.
Staying with football really quick, we got to find out the opener for Notre Dame time, Sunday night football game at Lambeau Field. Are you going to that game, RJ? Do you know yet?
I plan on it. Mm-hmm. Right now, I have a request in for tickets.
Okay.
We'll see if I get them through the university. If I don't, I'll have to go to the secondary market, even though they're not available right now. Well, I guess Notre Dame released theirs already, but Wisconsin hasn't. Went on StubHub, and the cheapest one was $512 per ticket. So need that price to go down a little bit, or find a different way to attend the game.
Right. And I was kind of wondering how those sales would go, because, I mean, Notre Dame's coming in. I mean, they could potentially be a top-ranked team, and then obviously with Wisconsin, and we know their status and such. But, man, it sounds like it still would be a hot ticket. Is it just because it's Lambeau Field Sunday night, then it's Notre Dame? You get to go see Notre Dame too?
Yeah. I mean, that's the way it sounds. In terms of my request for tickets, I'm not the highest on the priority list according to Badger Select, the donation arm of athletics. So, I don't. I'm not that high on the pecking order, apparently. So we'll see if my request gets accepted, or once general tickets are released through Wisconsin, maybe I'll be able to get some decent price tickets through the university.
Interesting. So, yeah, I mean, the environment on a Sunday night at Lambeau Field to watch a little Wisconsin Notre Dame, if everybody knows the history with all that too, it'd be a cool thing to go check out for sure.
Oh, absolutely. It was great when I was at the LSU game, when that one was at Lambeau. That's one people went in. LSU was ranked number 5 in the country. It was still about half and half, a lot of LSU fans there. I mean, Wisconsin ended up pulling that out. Granted, we found out LSU probably shouldn't have been ranked at all, but on paper they were they were good. Wisconsin just ended up having a better game that day, and it could happen. Notre Dame could end up being the preseason number 1 team in the country. They had, I believe, one of the top 2 transfer portals in the country this year. So we'll see where that ranking ends up being. But yeah, I mean, one way or another, you're looking at a matchup against at least a top 10 team in terms of Notre Dame. I think people still want to see that. We'll see how many Wisconsin fans actually end up going because, quite frankly, outside of this game, I don't think people, well, I mean, we haven't heard season ticket renewal numbers yet, so that's not good. So it'll be interesting to see what the reaction is from the Wisconsin fans. I have a couple of friends who are Notre Dame fans who already have tickets, tickets secured. They don't have seat or section or anything like that, but their ticket requests have already been accepted, and they're telling me all about it and the plans and all that. I'm like, I don't have anything yet. I don't know what to tell you. So, Notre Dame fans definitely going to be snatching up tickets for the game at Lambeau, but I guess it is going to be a Notre Dame home game because the one in Chicago a few years ago was a Wisconsin home game, even though we wore white. So,
Gotcha.
yeah.
All right. Well, he's good stuff, RJ Cardinal, our Badger analyst, joining us here this morning. Appreciate the time as always, buddy. Enjoy the rest of the week, and we'll catch up with you again soon, okay?
Absolutely. We'll talk to you later.
You got it. There you go. There's RJ Cardinal. Good stuff again with Mr. Cardinal giving us the pulse of what's going on down in Badger Town. We got to take a quick break. We'll be back after these few words. Coming up this Saturday, it's Barbecue Fest at the Northern Wisconsin State Fairgrounds. Be over there for a little bit on Saturday with our friends from Mike's Star Market. So come over, find us on Saturday. Mike's Star Market's going to have they'll bring the big trailer and pickup full of goodies. So Saturday, 11 to 5, stop by and say hello to our good friends at Mike's Star Market at Barbecue Fest. Again, happening May 16th. This Saturday, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Free parking and admission. It's over at the Northern Wisconsin State Fairgrounds. So, got the backyard trailer competition, the People's Choice Award, where you can sample each competitor and vote for your favorite. Limited quantity of ballots go on sale at 1 p.m. at the Barbecue Fest info booth. So, should be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to it on Saturday. Just got to play a little catch up here. We do have to take another break here, but Surveyor being a good surveyor and researching the Joey Ortiz thing, I was kind of curious, like how many pitches he averages per at bat per plate appearance. Okay, it was as low as I thought. Surveyor says to my quick research, Joey Ortiz is averaging 3.80 pitches per plate appearance. My 5-year-old can last longer than that. He also has a 9.2% walk rate and a 21.8% strikeout rate. Wow. Think just under 4 pitches per plate appearance. Yeesh. Not great. Not great at all. Yikes. I don't want to throw out the question, when's the clock hit zero on giving Joey Ortiz more reps at shortstop and starting shortstop, because I think the majority of Brewers fans would probably say that clock has hit zero and they continue to hit the snooze button on it. Right now I don't think a change is coming anytime soon, because and the big thing in a way on that is Cooper Pratt. If Cooper Pratt was consistently hitting in the minor leagues, then I think it would be a change. But, yeah, right now I don't see that changing at all. Continue to send us your toys at 4 to Grind My Gears Tuesday. A couple of you did piggyback off of the Joey Ortiz one and say what grinds my gears is Joey Ortiz continuing to get continuing to get playing time, at shortstop. So, if you got any more or you want to piggyback off that, you can continue to send those on over to the Shoe Doctors bullpen line. Otherwise, you can join in on the chat at Section 105 on our YouTube stream. It is also a confession day, sports confession day. So if you've got something that you want to confess sports-wise, send those on over. Plus, I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. I'm not saying blank, but I'm just saying blank. I'll have mine coming up in the 9 o'clock hour, so we'll get to that here in a little bit. So I want to talk a little bit more hoops, Giannis and such, coming up in the next hour. Get back to some more Brewers talk as we get set for game 1 of this series against the Padres. I want to talk a little bit more about Aaron Ashby coming up in the 9 o'clock hour. I know we've dabbled a little bit on Ashby here and there, but I kind of want to go down that rabbit hole a little bit here with Aaron Ashby. Give that guy some credit where credit's due for what he has done and what he has meant for this Brewers team so far this season. It's a good piece by Adam McCulvey on Brewers.com, but kind of essentially calls him the new Vulture. I like that name, Vulture. Yeah. That's a sweet nickname. But we'll go through that and talk a little bit about Aaron Ashby coming up in the final hour. So we got to take our final break for this hour, and then we'll wrap up the third quarter, the third hour, and then hit up the final hour, the final call for any Grind My Gears or any I'm Not Sayings, I'm Just Sayings, and your sports confessions. We'll take a quick break and be right back in just a couple minutes. Just a couple minutes left to the top of the hour until we get into the final quarter here. We've got another text from Austin saying, I will piggyback off of everybody's Grind My Gears Tuesdays that Joy Ortiz should not be the starting shortstop for the Brewers and bring up Cooper Pratt. Another texter asks the question, should the Brewers trade for a shortstop? So first of all, I don't know who that would be off the top of my head. I don't think they would, to be honest with you. I don't feel like that would be the play here. Now, what about third base? I think that potentially could still be something. I know we're probably way too early to be talking about trade moves and that sort of thing, but okay, maybe throw it back to you, to the listeners. If the Brewers were to make a trade, okay, let me throw this scenario out right before the top of the hour just to get the feedback. So hit me up with some text here. Would you rather see the Brewers trade for a shortstop and bring up Jet Williams to play third base, or something like that, or trade for a third baseman, have Cooper Pratt come up to play short for the rest of this season? Even though Cooper Pratt, you look at the offensive numbers, I mean, they aren't, banging the table, oh, got to get me some of that right now. Not the greatest, not the best. What would you rather see? All right, shot clock's ticking us or cutting us off here, so we'll take a news update break and be back to talk some more Brewers coming up in just a couple minutes. All right, here we go. The final hour kicking off on this Tuesday morning. Thanks for hanging out with us. And, of course, after we talked to RJ Cardinal, we got some Badger news that just dropped. Wisconsin has announced it has, quote, formally launched a search for its next director of athletics, and that the university expects the athletic director to begin this summer. This summer. So there is a search committee out there. Just reading a little bit from the release here. Lauren Bishop, an associate professor in the Sandra Rosenbaum School of Social Work at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, who serves as one of the university's faculty athletics representatives to the Big Ten Conference and NCAA. This will be chaired. In addition to Bishop, other search committee members include Chris Ballard, who is the general manager of the Indianapolis Colts. He was a UW-Madison grad, 1993, former UW student athlete in football. Rob Kramer, vice chancellor for finance and administration, and 1992 Madison alumnus. Megan Dugan, director of player development for the New Jersey Devils. Michael Finley, Dallas Mavericks organization, as we know, former player for the basketball team. LZ Higginbottom, president, Eastlake Management Development Corp., UW-Madison, 1965 alum. Just kind of going through William Smith, current men's soccer student athlete, president, chair, student athlete advisory committee. Michael Shannon, co-founder and former chairman, CEO, KSL Capital Partners. So the director of athletics will report directly to interim Chancellor Wilcox, serving on his executive committee and providing oversight for all aspects of the university's varsity athletic programs, with a strong emphasis on student-athlete health, well-being, academic success, finance and facilities, fundraising, and excellence in competition. So that's kind of your search committee, or I shouldn't say kind of. That is your search committee. So you got a little bit of everything. The Chris Ballard one is interesting to me, too, considering the time frame. So I guess it would work with training camp, preseason, a little bit of the offseason here. But, all right, it's going to be a quick turnaround. I mean, it's May, and if they want the athletic director to start in the summer here, I would expect maybe in the next couple months that the Badgers are going to have their new athletic director. All right. It makes that you want it in place before football season, for crying out loud. Right? I mean, you want it before football season begins. So, also, I just saw The Athletic dropped their latest. If you're into this sort of thing, I don't take them seriously, but I look at them whenever they drop from credible sources and such, power rankings, just to kind of see what some of the people who are covering these leagues think about some of the teams in that. And while The Athletic for baseball, they've got the Brewers as number 5. They moved up just one spot, even heading into that Yankees one. They had them at 6, so just moving up to number 5. They list one reason to believe in this team. The pitching staff is nails. Hey, did you hear the Brewers traded Corbin Burns and lived to tell about it? Did you hear they traded Freddie Peralta and they didn't get relegated? Once again, Milwaukee's pitching staff is legitimate, even if you might not be familiar with Chad Patrick or Aaron Ashby, or don't mess with Shane Drowan, or you might remember Kyle Harrison and DL Hall as top prospects once upon a time and not key contributors to a group that has registered a 3.43 ERA. Of course, you can't discuss the Brewer staff without mentioning Jacob Mizorowski, who has been appointment viewing. His fastball velocity, rightfully, receives all the attention. He averaged 101.1 on 57 fastballs against the Yankees on Friday night, which is downright silly. No one has touched his off-speed stuff either, probably because there's nothing off-speed about his off-speed stuff. For what's worth, the Cubs are at number 4. Yankees still at number 2, even after being swept. number 2. But the Brewers top 5. Top 5 on there. Get back to some Brewers here in a second, but Surveyor's got a Toyson Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday. DK, I'll tell you what grinds my gears. Dynasty football leagues. My lord, trying to make a trade happen is like pulling teeth. If the other guy doesn't feel like he's getting a steal of a deal, then they shut it down instantly. This is simple, man. I want CMC. I offered you Jalen Waddle or a first in 2027, but he wants both for a 30-year-old injury-riddled running back. Just make the deal. It's an even trade. I like it. I like that. Hey, yeah, so continue to send those on over if you got any more Grind My Gears or your confessions, sports confessions, and your I'm not sayings, but I'm just saying. My I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. I'm not saying wins don't matter for pitchers, but I'm just saying they have really kind of lost its luster, its meaning, and overall important stat in baseball, in my opinion. And I'm not trying to knock Aaron Ashby here, but Aaron Ashby leads the majors. He's got 7 wins. He's 7-0. When I think about it's okay, so I'll throw this out there. Is it time to, I don't know if you can do this, but is a win a starting pitching stat? You hear this a lot in football. Is quarterback wins a stat? I've seen people debate this, and I'll be honest, I've gone back and forth on it too. Are quarterback wins a legitimate stat? On one hand, I can make the case because a quarterback is probably the most important position on the team, maybe in sports. You have a really good quarterback, you're going to have a really good chance to win a ball game and a lot of ball games. But however, if we're going to sit there and say that football is the ultimate team game, and we have seen examples of teams without top-tier quarterbacks making runs, deep runs, maybe even winning championships. So it's a balancing act. I do think quarterbacks maybe when they get credited with a win, there are cases where they probably shouldn't have been credited with a win, but it'll go under as a win for them. So I can see both sides, and I struggle to go on one side. Now, you look at starting pitchers in Major League Baseball, or pitchers just in general in baseball. Where's the balancing act here? Do they need to change the rules? Do they need to change the guidelines, or however you want to call it, in determining, who gets the win? Do they have to kind of ease up on the restrictions for starting pitchers, if you will? Say a starter goes out there for 4 innings and it's just lights out, but doesn't get credited with the win, even though maybe they had a 2-0 lead and they only pitched 4 and the team still wins like 2-1. Then it's up to like the scorer after that. Do they need to ease up on it? I think it's taken away a little bit of its luster, and I don't think it means that much. It's not the be-all, tell-all stat in Major League Baseball anymore. And I'm not trying to take anything away from Aaron Ashby, but even he has kind of said, this is a piece from Adam McCulvey on Brewers.com. If you want to check it out. It's a fun little piece there. But he even says too that, if he ends up winning the most games this season, they're probably going to change the rule. Like he said, quote, "I can almost guarantee there will be a rules change if I come out of this thing with a major league lead and wins. That would be the best way to fast track this thing." He did say, too, Ashby said that he doesn't think he should be leading the league in wins. He's a proponent of changing the way the win is determined by official scorers. So more starters are rewarded during what pitching coach Chris Hook refers to as the drag race era of pitching, when outings are getting shorter and more electric. It's an interesting way to kind of describe it by Chris Hook. That's the first I've heard that. But really, if you take a step back and think about it, it's accurate, isn't it? The drag race era of pitching, harder, faster, quicker. And I don't know if we're going to get out of the drag race era for pitching in Major League Baseball. I think this is the era that we are going to be in for the long haul for a while now. Teams want these pitchers to throw harder, to throw faster, be a little bit more fresh. They want to get to the pen. They want to get these long relief pitchers in there. I feel like Pat Murphy has said this a few times about some of his players, but apparently Pat Murphy really wasn't expecting much from Aaron Ashby either. I feel like Murphy's done this a couple times with players and that. Murphy remembers being at the Brewers at spring training complex early in 2024, between the end of fantasy camp and the start of big league camp. Through the windows of the dining hall, he saw someone playing catch in the farthest corner of the agility field. I watched this guy, a left-hander, kind of barely getting it out. I thought, why would they let the fantasy campers still work out there? Fantasy camp is over. But it was Ashby. I professed this. He will never help us this year. And he did. And he was extremely valuable last year. It's a testament to the kid. He's an incredible human. I feel like Pat has said that a couple times about players. But you look at what Ashby has done for this team and what he has meant to this team. He has been they kind of use the word vulture, the nickname vulture, and they explain it. And, you can read it. Brent Suter kind of had the nickname too and such. And you can check it out at Brewers.com. And I think that's an accurate nickname, or a title, if you will, to kind of describe what Aaron Ashby is doing for this ball club and how he's helping out this ball club. He comes in big moments, tight situations, and has produced more times than not. He's kind of that versatile guy that, all right, maybe you need an opener. You can throw Ashby out there if you want. You're coming in in the fifth inning in a tight situation. He can give you a couple innings there. Later on, maybe in the seventh or eighth, he can do that too. It's almost, not fully, but maybe almost reminiscent to the early days of a Josh Hader and such. And it's good to see Ashby, and he kind of alluded to it in the piece too, being a consistent contributor to this team, because Ashby was one of those guys too early on a few years ago. He was one of those that got a contract extension and was kind of thought of as being a starter. And that hasn't really panned out. Injuries have kind of derailed that. But I feel like he's found a home, and he's found a really good spot for his career in terms of what the team asks him to do, what he excels best at. Coming out of the pen, being a long relief guy potentially, can give you maybe a quick inning here and then be available for the next day for a couple innings. He gives you that versatility. He gives you that excellence that right now, without him, he's one of the players on this team. When you look at this season so far, as we are entering the final quarter of the season, as a big-time contributor, he is a big reason why the Brewers are in this place that they are. In second place in the division, one of the top teams in the National League, playing some good baseball as of now, 7-3 in their last 10. Ashby is a big reason for that. And if he can be healthy and continue to be that guy throughout this season, he's going to be a big piece, a big reason that hopefully the Brewers are back in the postseason. We got to take a quick break, but we'll have more baseball talk coming up after these quick words. Kevin says, what's grinding my gears is this slow NFL schedule release. It's annoying. NFL just release the whole thing. That's actually, we've gotten that one a couple of times here. Again, I get why they're doing it, but yeah, it does get a little bit annoying for sure. A couple of you also saying what grinds my gears is the constant Dallas Cowboys attention and that, but hey, we'll probably get, I think we'll get another probably reveal tonight. But one thing is that you could plan on for week 1 of the Packers game, wherever it's going to be, whoever it's going to be against, it's going to be Sunday, noon, or 3:25. Based off of the opening week for week 1 games that have already been announced, like primetime wise. So maybe that tells us it's not going to be the Bears to open up. I would think that would, unless they want to do that as a 3:25 like noon game or 3:25 Sunday game like they did with the Lions last year. Who knows? But I feel like Bears at Seattle. Unless they want to do Super Bowl rematch right away with the Patriots coming to town. Let's have some fun. I know the schedule isn't released until Thursday. But let's start to take some of your picks right now. Who do you think? What's your prediction for the week 1 game? What do you think is the prediction? Like at Chicago, or Chicago comes to Lambeau, or Miami right away. Give me a prediction, and I'll throw a prize pack together. Okay? I'll throw a prize pack of some swag, some tees, and all that stuff together if you get it right. If we get multiple people that get it right, then I'm just going to have to do the random organizer thing. So hit me up with a text, 715-830-1912 on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line. Or you can throw it on the Section 105 chat. I'll just make sure to save it. Give me your prediction on what do you think the week 1 game is going to be for the Packers. Get it right. I'll enter you into to win some swag pieces, Sports Talk swag pieces. Okay? Have some fun with it. Why not? I might do my prediction. Maybe I'll come up with one tomorrow for a full-on schedule. Just have a little fun with it. But anyways, back to a little hoops chat here. So the big news from yesterday in the NBA world, the whole Giannis thing with ESPN dropping the thing that the Bucks are seeking trade offers for Giannis. This comes from Shams from ESPN, which I know this year more than any other year there has been some, shall we say, issues between Bucks fans and Shams and his reporting, or Bucks players or Bucks coaches and that. But for what it's worth, this came down yesterday. Shams from ESPN saying the Bucks are open for business on trade calls and offers for Giannis. There is expected to be a robust market for Giannis' services. Duh. The Bucks engaged in Giannis trade talks before the February deadline, as the franchise cornerstone expressed his belief that the time had come to part ways, which goes against a lot of the stuff that even Giannis had said. But so that's the headline. But then if you read a little bit further into this thing, Shams even puts in there that the Bucks, this is word for word what he puts in his piece. The Bucks are also leaving the door open to pursue a major trade to persuade Giannis to stay once again, allowing Horst to work parallel paths. Well, okay then. So it's not just the headline gives the impression, right? Gives the impression that, all right, they're gonna trade Giannis. Giannis is out. He's done. He's gone. But read a little bit further. That's not the sexy headline, right? That's not the sexy draw. That's not the one that's going to get all the attention. I'm just going to throw that one in there. But I also think that's equally as important. It's equally as important. And honestly, it's nothing different than what's been talked about for the last couple weeks, the last few weeks. right? He's either going to stay, and they're probably going to make a trade to keep him happy, or I mean, if the Bucks decide to keep Giannis and Giannis stays, they're going to make other moves to trade for players to put around him. That should be a foregone conclusion. They're not going to keep him and just stand pat this offseason. That's just not going to happen. If they have an agreement, an understanding between Giannis and the Bucks, that Giannis wants to stay and the Bucks want to keep him and that he's going to sign that extension, they're going to make other moves. They are going to make trades. They will probably trade the 10th pick. And they will probably try to move Kyle Kuzma, which I'm okay with. That's going to happen. That's not a big, like, oh my God, we knew this. And if that's not something that both sides wants, if one side wants it but the other doesn't, or both sides just don't want to pair up anymore, okay, then yeah, he's going to get traded. There's nothing new about this. I'm sorry, but there's nothing new. I don't necessarily want to always call out Shams, but really, what's new about this? And, it's one of the sources here says the conversation will be simple. Where does Giannis want to be moved, and where will he sign a long-term deal? Well, no cry I. I mean, I think a team that is going to be giving up a lot of stuff, a lot of draft picks or players for Giannis is going to want to sign him to an extension. I don't feel like there's going to be another Kawhi situation with the Raptors where the Raptors are just going to have Kawhi for 1 year. And yeah, they got a championship out of it. But I feel like the team that's going to be acquiring Giannis is probably going to want to give him an extension. So, yeah, a lot of that's going to be dependent on where does Giannis want to go? Okay, Giannis wants to go there. Let's see if we can work out a deal. Because that team's going to want to sign him to an extension too. There's really nothing new in this thing. But it gets attention. It gets people to talk about, look at what we're talking about now. I'm guilty of it. But really, when you kind of go beyond the headlines, beyond the main talking points and those little ones, there's nothing new. There really is nothing new. All right. We got a couple of predictions. All right, I like it. Keep them coming. Okay? Keep them coming. Give me your week 1 predictions for the Packers schedule. All right. Send them on over. We'll take a quick break and be back with more coming up after these few words. I've got a sports confession to make. I think strength of schedule, rankings, numbers, whatever you want to call it, is one of the most worthless sports stats. If it even is a stat or sports numbers out there. Because the NFL schedule is coming out Thursday. You're seeing, like Schefter this morning released each team's strength of schedule for the upcoming season. It's based off of records from last year, from the previous seasons. So if you're looking at it, Green Bay's got the fourth toughest schedule. Fourth toughest schedule. Chicago's got the toughest. Miami is second. Arizona third. Green Bay fourth. To me, strength of schedules before a season begins, based off of numbers from last year, worthless. They mean nothing to me. I know people look at them and use them to make cases or fill narratives and such, but for crying out loud, that was last year. Now, if we get into the season and you look ahead, we get to like the halfway mark of the NFL season, for example, then you look at, okay, the strength of the schedule for the remaining teams. That to me means something. But strength of schedules before the season begins based off of records from last year, no. Just ridiculous. I don't buy it. And I think it's one of the more worthless, again, if you want to call it stats or it's not even really analytics. Yeah, it's probably statistics. So it's probably one of the most worthless ones out there. I don't pay attention to them unless it's for the remaining of the season. Like we get a few games in, it's week 8 of the NFL season, and you look at it, it's like, okay, the Packers have the toughest remaining schedule based off of the records from this year. That's something. I think that is something that we can look at. But right now, no, please. Just stop. Just stop. Hey, quick note. If anybody is going to a Brewers-Twins game on Friday, I got an email a little bit ago that the start time for Friday's Brewers at Twins game has been adjusted. Okay? So I don't know if you heard or anything like that, but the start time for Friday's game, the original schedule had the game as a 7:10 first pitch, it looks like. First pitch has now been moved to 6:10. So, again, I got this email from the Brewers radio network. So just a heads up if anybody's going over there. Do they have it adjusted on here? So that it is online. It has been adjusted. Okay. All right. They just announced it this morning or yesterday. So just a little bit of a PSA announcement because I know we have a lot of people who are both Brewers and Twins fans, or Brewers are going to be over there. It's a little bit closer for a drive. I know a lot of people are going to be going over at some point this weekend. So in case you didn't hear, just throwing it out there, that Friday game, it's an hour difference. They moved it up an hour. So I know my kid would love to go, but we can't. We can't, unfortunately. So, but tonight's Brewers game, still 6:40, first pitch. Coverage begins on the radio dials, 105.1 FM and 790 AM, 35 minutes prior, so about 6:05 tonight. Brandon Sproat is on the mound for the Brew Crew. Can the Brewers pick up where they left off against that series against the Yankees, against a tough Padres team? A Padres team that, earlier on we were kind of looking at some of the numbers and rankings and statistics, very similar in a lot of areas between the Brewers and the Padres. Maybe the slight advantage goes towards the pitching for the Brewers. And if we kind of use the athletic rankings, power rankings to look at it, the Padres come in at number 8th. One reason to believe in this team, it has gotten this far. I don't know if that's a very good vote of confidence. But here's some numbers. The Padres are a 500 team according to the Pythagorean record, and their 297 team on-base percentage is keeping them company with the Mets and Giants. Two teams you'll have to scroll to read about. Keep scrolling. No farther. So how are the Padres doing it? That's not a rhetorical question. This article is due soon, and I need you to give me an answer quick. I like this writer. Their adjusted ERA is right around league average, and they're rocking an 87 OPS plus as a team, which is last place stuff. If you're looking for a reason to believe in this team, it's that it has gotten this far with Xander Bogaerts and his 7.78 OPS as the team's best hitter. With a more reliable and predictable lineup, the Pythagorean record will eventually match the actual record, not the other way around. So, to those in the know, the Padres are exceeding maybe the expectations, playing better than what their numbers are showing, or winning in spite. That's probably the best way to say it. They're winning in spite of what their numbers are showing you. So can the Brewers take advantage of that? Or and hopefully this isn't a get-right series or a series that maybe things start to click for a Manny Machado or a Fernando Tatis Jr. or anything like that. I wouldn't overlook the Padres, though. That's one thing. Don't get into the position of that. And I don't think the Brewers are going to. So we got Brandon Sproat tonight for the Brewers. Looking ahead to the rest of this series, tomorrow on the 13th, it's going to be Jacob Misiorowski versus Michael King. That should be another good matchup. King 3-2 with a 2.76 ERA so far this season. And then the series finale. It's going to be Harrison versus Canning. And he's 0-1 with 2 games started so far this year. And he's coming off of 6 earned runs against the Cardinals back on the 8th. So I think pitching-wise, matchup-wise, it favors the Brewers in this series. You get Mizkid starting tomorrow. You get Harrison starting after that. We'll see about Brandon Sproat today. I think tonight might be a little bit of the wild card. But I feel like the pitching sets up in the Brewers' favor. Interesting numbers, though, about those Padres. Maybe a little bit of a flash in the pan or sort of thing. All right, we got to take a quick break as we start to wrap up. Final segment coming up here. Continue to send me your predictions. We've got predictions for Week 1 for the Packers game. If you get it right, I'll send you a prize package, swag package. We've got Dolphins at home. We've got Panthers versus Packers Week 1. We've got Packers at Detroit, 3:25. Give me some times too. Got to give me kickoff time. Got to be specific. Okay, give me a specific time. Noon, 3:25, whatever you got. Let's take a quick break, and we'll start to wrap things up. We got picks to get to. We'll do a little Stanley Cup, little hoops, and some baseball games. We'll be right back in just a couple minutes. All right, let's wrap it up with some picks. We'll start off with the NBA schedule. Just one game on the docket, and it's the Timberwolves. That series is tied at 2 apiece. Minnesota at San Antonio. I think I'm going to go with the Spurs with this one. Last night, we had the Cavaliers taking down Detroit to even up that series at 2 apiece, and OKC did take down the Lakers to sweep that series. So right now, you still got OKC now is going to be waiting here probably for a little bit here because between Minnesota and San Antonio, it's the first to two. Whoever wins the next two is going to be in it. But elsewhere, you've got no, sorry, I got sidetracked there. You've got kind of waiting right now in the Eastern Conference. Get the Knicks just kind of twiddling their thumbs, seeing who they're going to be playing. It might be a little bit yet here. So either they're going to be rusted or they're going to be rested and ready to go. Rusty or rested and ready to go. I think that'll, after game one, that kind of goes out the window. Anyways, Stanley Cup playoffs. Last night, the Minnesota Wild falling to the Colorado Avalanche 5-2. So Colorado takes that series lead 3-1 tonight. We've got a couple games. Buffalo at Montreal. I'm gonna go Buffalo to even up this series. Montreal's leading it 2-1. Anaheim, Vegas tied up at 2 apiece. I'm gonna go with Vegas to win and take the 3-2 series lead. Let's get to some baseball picks as we wrap this up. Angels at Cleveland. Cleveland picking up a 7-2 win yesterday. I'm going to go with Cleveland again tonight. Baltimore defeating the Yankees yesterday, 3-2. So, New York. I'm going to go with them tonight, though, with the Yankees. So, Colorado at Pittsburgh. We've got Paul Skeens on the mound. I'm going to go with Pittsburgh. Washington taking on Cincinnati. I will go with the Reds. Philadelphia taking out Boston. I'm going to go with the Phillies. Tampa Bay at Toronto. The Tampa Bay picked up the victory last night, so I'll go Toronto tonight. Detroit versus the Mets. Jack Flaherty versus Freddie Peralta. I'm going to go with the Tigers. Cubs at Braves. This should be a good series. I'm going to go with the Braves for game one. Colin Ray versus Grant Holmes. Kansas City taking on the White Sox. I will go with Kansas City. Miami at Minnesota. I'm going to go with Miami. Arizona at Texas. Arizona picked up a 1-0 victory last night. I'm going to go with Arizona again tonight. Seattle taking on Houston. Seattle picked up a 3-1 victory last night. I'll go Mariners too. St. Louis at the Athletics. I'm going to go with Athletics. And then the Giants versus the Dodgers. It was the Giants with a 9-3 victory last night against the Dodgers. But Yamamoto's on the mound going up against Adrian Hauser. I'll go with the Dodgers to bounce back tonight. Brewers hosting the Padres. I'll go Brewers. Why not? Brewers pick up game one victory. All right. Coming up tomorrow as we are, making the turn. I'm not actually going to be here tomorrow, so you get the day off tomorrow. I'm just kidding, but we'll be back on Thursday. So we'll do some of our usual stuff on Thursday, but I'll try to get up a new episode of the podcast up later on today and such. So, but just kind of looking forward. So here's kind of your homework assignments up until Thursday, all right? Give me those predictions. You can still text today, tomorrow, your prediction. What do you think is going to be the Packers Week 1 game? Give me a time and give me the opponent. Okay, give me a time and give me the opponent. If you get it right, and if we get multiple winners right, I'll enter you into get a sweet swag package from Sports Talk. Okay, so you can send that on over until it's officially announced what you think that Week 1 game is going to be for the Packers. Earlier the better, because maybe we'll find out what it's going to be today or something. So, but I don't know if we are. I feel like we're going to have at least one Packer game announced before Thursday. I feel like one of them is going to be thrown out there. We've already got a couple Cowboy ones, for crying out loud. I just don't know which one it's going to be. Maybe a Packers Thanksgiving one again. Let me look this up really quick. When's Christmas? Ooh, Friday. I could see Green Bay do. Yeah, maybe a Christmas day. I don't like Packers games on Christmas. Just give me that day to not worry about a Packers game. Just give me that day. I don't know. But so yeah, think about that for a little bit, and you can send those on over whenever you want. So Thursday when we're back, it is a Takeover Thursday too. So this is where you act as the producer and such. So if you want to throw out a topic idea for discussion, I'm an open book. All right, send it on over. And if we like it, which we probably will, we'll throw it up for discussion, not only here, but for the rest of the listeners out there. So think about that for Thursday. It's a couple days away, but think about some topics that we can hit up. And hopefully when we get to Thursday, we're talking about maybe already the Brewers getting a series win and maybe another sweep. And then we can kind of start to look at first quarter grades for the Brew Crew. Because after this series, that's kind of the natural starting point here. Looking ahead to, we got after this Padres series, the Brewers are going to be hitting the road and taking on the Twinnies, not far from us. And then a little bit after that, because we looked at this stretch of the schedule here for the Crew, and for May, it was kind of a tough one. But they're off to a really good start in May. They took 2 out of 3 against the Nationals. They split that 2-game series against the Cardinals because of the weather, sweeping the Yankees. If they win the series against the Padres and take care of business against the Twins, they're going to be playing some good baseball when they face the Cubs next week. And then after that is the Dodgers. I mean, May 18th, I'll even throw the Cardinals in here. May 18th through the 27th. Those are some big-time games. On the road against the Cubbies, at home against the Dodgers, at home against the Cardinals. So let's take care of some business leading up to that and play some really good baseball, hopefully be healthy, and roll into those games with a lot of confidence. With a lot of confidence. I like where the Brewers are at right now. Hopefully Yelly's back here soon, just to add a little bit more pop into that lineup. But I like the confidence that this team is playing with. I think Jackson Churio back in there and Andrew Vaughn back in there to add a little stability, I think is doing wonders and will continue to get better. And we know about the pitching and just how lights out they've been. All right, have a good rest of your Tuesday. Won't be in tomorrow, so we'll be back on Thursday, 6 a.m., same place, same time, Thursday morning. We'll chat with you all then.